everybody, Ryan here from Music City Live. Welcome to the show. I'm here with Theodore-Jason Starr, aka DJ Starchild. Starchild is from the Masters of the Wheels of Steel, established in 1980. Wow, man, that is absolutely incredible. I wasn't even born yet, so we're not going to go there. He's a DJ, producer, voiceover artist, MC, father, and vinyl DJing legend. Starr, thanks for coming on, brother.
Nothing but love, my friend.
Absolutely.
Nothing but love.
I was just telling Essay earlier, I said, when I was before I started doing this podcast, I was making a list of all the people I wanted to have on, and your name was absolutely in that list. And I told him earlier when you were out, you going to washroom stuff, I was like, man, I've been looking forward to this podcast for so long because there's so much we got to talk about and get down.
That's shocking to me because we've been friends for so long. We've talked about so much stuff. I never expected that. You've sent me podcasts. I repost them for you. I'm like, that's cool. That's great. And I wasn't even feeling jealous or anything, but it's like that. I'm just one of those things where there's no way I would even be there. Any light would be shine my way. I wasn't expecting it, but when you asked me, I was like, you sure you want to go there?
Hell yeah,
sure
man.
You want to go there?
No, right. Man. You know why? One of the things about starting this show, man, is that there's a lot of amazing people that I know that have so much incredible knowledge and have had incredible journeys. And you're one of those guys. And, it's like, yeah, did I get to, meet Ice Cube on the tour and all? Like, that's all cool. But man, I mean, we got history, and London's got history. And I mean, you've done a lot in this town for decades and decades and decades. We absolutely have to get all that on the record. 100%.
It's about the record. And I wish I could remember all the names. I remember before we started it, if we want to go there first, before me and the rest of the Masters started in 1980 at Radio Western, we were 15 years old. I'm not 15 years old anymore, but it wasn't just us. There's a guy named Mike Rollins. I'll give him props right off the bat. He's a movie actor now. He's still my Facebook friend. His son's a movie actor now, but he started the funk show at Radio Western, and he passed it down to Hedley Brown, and Hedley Brown passed it down to Lewis Brown, his brother, and Lewis Brown passed it to Dave Henry and myself, and we're still doing it now on a different station, but we were doing this for now pushing 44 years. But it wasn't us. I got to say that. And I got to give props before I even start saying anything. It was our fathers who were doing it first. It was Hedley and Lewis's dad who were doing the clubs here in London. They're older guys.
Wow.
When we were little kids.
When was that?
Oh, you want to go to 1979 that we started, 1980? That was I came to Canada. I'm from Barbados. I came to Canada in 75. So these guys were doing this stuff in 76, 77.
Wow. That's wicked, man.
So I was a little boy. I was like, I didn't know. Nothing that was ethnic, urban, as they say, had blossomed yet. Nothing was going on yet. But we were watching this and going, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of, what do you do? I'll give you one little piece. My white grandfather just passed away. And my grandmother, who's 91 now, and I say white grandfather because he was my grandmother's best friend. And I became a DJ and I became a dancer because I was a little kid from Barbados and they were partying in their basement. There was 45 of them partying in the basement. Go to bed, go to bed. Like, yeah, right, I'm going to go to bed while I hear music pumping from the basement. That was the beginning of me right there and then. Jackson 5 videos, and I was dancing before. I was a dancer before I was a DJ.
I was too. 100%.
I became a DJ because I was a dancer.
Yep, I was too. 100%.
Career day in high school, they're like, oh, what do you want to be? A doctor, a policeman, a fireman? I know all those titles, but I thought back then, this might be groundbreaking. I thought, what makes people happy? And dancing made me happy. I'm like, well, who controls the dancers? The DJs control the dancers. And that's why I became a DJ.
When I was in the club, even later on in life, even before I started DJing at DV8, when I was there, I would go to DV8 because, we'll talk about the NAC, but after the NAC, when DV8 happened, I still remember very vividly dancing on stage at DV8. It was me and 3, 4, 5 other people. And I very vividly remember that being like one of the last times I really danced. Like I went to the club to dance as a dancer on stage. It was one of the last times. And I very vividly remember that I wanted everyone on that dance floor, everyone in that club to be having a good time. I was pointing at the bartenders, making sure they were smiling. It was all about that, man. It was all about making sure everybody was happy and having a good time. So I hear you, man. It's
the club scene. Oh, we can jump all over these.
We will.
I'm even looking at my jot notes like grade 7 English class. Like, don't forget stuff. But and me and you used to talk about this. Like, But I was saying to your friends here, I was saying the club scene in the 90s, not even just like the knack and a drink and oh, you want to talk about clubs? Let me just lay down something about how long. Should I turn that off? Because people bugging me. Let me just explain to you how long we've been doing the club scene. The Caribbean Club on Adelaide Street was a very big club, but it wasn't the first Caribbean Club. The very first Caribbean Club was on Saskatoon, not far from here.
Mm.
And we were there when we were 14, 15, when I first started the whole breakdance, but that's another story.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of this, like, what did early days look for you? Like, so you said you were a dancer before you were a DJ. So let's go back to that story
You
because
want to go to
like,
that one first? All right.
well, no, because I want the foundation. So like, you heard the music in the basement. That got you
Okay,
into.
let's do it backwards. Fine. Let's do it backwards.
No,
That's
no.
fine. Let's flip the script.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't mind because as long as we touch them all,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The basement dancing, Jackson 5, when I was still back in Barbados, Jackson 5 TV show, Come to Canada, Carol Burnett show, Shields and Yarnell. They did the robot, and they're still around. I actually talked to Robert Shields on Facebook. He's
Wow.
old now, but Shields and Yarnell were doing the robot. Soul Train, American Bandstand, uh, Pop Along Kid, who's part of Shalimar. Then the 80s hit with Turbo, who's Michael Chambers, who's a friend of mine now. Poppin' Pete, who's a friend of mine now, which is crazy because when you watch Breaking back then, you're at Century in the movie theaters, and it's $2 Tuesday in London, and you watch the movie, and 50 of your friends are there. You're not going to think 30 years later you're going to be friends with these people.
No, exactly.
You wouldn't think they're icons to you. So I'm looking up these people and I'm mimicking everything they're doing, but I'm ahead of my time. So Jeffrey Daniels, who did the moonwalk, Poppin' Taco passed away, who was a friend of mine, gave me a drop and a whole bit. These are all, when you watch these videos, when you watch Beat It, when you watch Thriller and all that stuff, Taco's right beside Michael Jackson. You don't see it now. You see it now, but you didn't see it back then.
At the time, yeah.
At the time. So now I'm friends. I'm like, oh, you're behind this person. You're behind this person. So I followed that and I watched it like a Bible and I mimicked everything. And we used to practice. And we used to have VCR tapes that had freeze frames, Steven Seagal movies, freeze frames. So if you want to learn how to do something properly, you just watch it over and over and over. They say practice makes perfect. I used to watch it over and over and over again. So I used to watch the ticking and the waving and all that stuff. And we followed that. And the dancing was just like off the chain. The breakdance, electric book, that people don't understand. The LA movement was about electric boogie. The New York movement, the South Bronx, whatever, was about the breakdancing. So everything on the ground is breakdancing. There you go.
There we go. So what is this?
That is in front of the no longer standing London Free Press building.
Ah, wow.
That is actually the second wave of the KST crew. The first wave of the Knights of Sound Table. The first wave of the Knights of Sound Table was me and 4 other guys. I'm still friends with most of those guys. It was at a club called Sugars here in London. And Sugars, it was a teenage club. You weren't allowed to go in if you're an adult.
Really?
My mother wouldn't let me go to Sugars half the time. She's like, "You're not drinking at the bar." I'm like, "I'm not drinking, Mom. I'm just dancing."
Where was it?
Right on King Street. Remember where 99 King was?
Yeah, yeah.
Right beside it.
Oh, wow.
Right beside it. Right between where the ramp was, where the ride-out was. Sugars was right there.
Wow.
And that was like way back before anything.
Mm.
So we went down there and I was mimicking. I started the whole thing and we were mimicking what was going on in LA. And we were doing a wave and only one of us was breakdancing. There's 4 of us doing electric boogie. London Free Press, Rogers Cable was down there the next day because we were looking for stuff. Squirrels were dancing, whatever. We were down there. We knew my original crew before these guys. We knew it was going to change history because New York was doing it, LA was doing it, but nobody in London was doing it. So we went there and we started doing this stuff. And sure enough, the Free Press was down the whole bit and it just blew up. But when that blew up from the first crew, it blew up. And other crews started to see what was going on in LA and it was a fad. This was 1981. I was moonwalking on Hamilton Road on cardboard and stopping traffic with the original crew in 1980.
That was ahead of its time, for sure.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Way ahead.
This is before I even got into DJing because I didn't start, like we started, when I was touring and dancing was up before these guys. What happened with these guys? The second wave of the Knights, the first wave of the Knights, mutinied me, if you can.
Yeah.
There's this guy, he used to dance in the Electric Circus.
Okay.
And he had money in his studio in Richmond Row. And my boys decided to go with him because he had money. I go, that's cool. I'm still friends with those guys, by the way, to this day. But when they left me, I'm like, "That's cool. I'm still the best dancer in London. I'm still the best electric boogie. You're not gonna find anybody better than me." So I made these guys the second wave of the Nicest Round Table. These guys went famous because we toured and went to different cities, different places, got chased by girls, autographs. Hold on, let me just turn this off. Let's turn this off. And that's what went down in the history of the dancing. But while I was touring and doing all the dancing stuff, I'm not trying to be all rare. Hold on, let me just turn this off. I felt the music. I felt I need to get back to the music. So the rest of the masters, my DJ crew, were on Radio Western.
Right.
This was popular. Let's segue to that. This guy named Mike Rollins started this show called The Funk Show at Radio Western, 1979. That's why we say 1979, because Mike Rollins started The Funk Show. The Funk Show. There was only just funk. Rick James, not even Rick James. Rick James wasn't even like new. Like we're talking Parliament, like way back.
That's amazing.
Nobody knew about funk. There was record stores called Mr. Sound back then, and we used to go to Gap Band, like original Gap Band, and nobody knew about funk. You could even find any black music in any genre, in any no Sam the Record Man. There's none of that.
Wow.
So back then, Soul Train was a big part. American Bandstand was a big part.
Yeah,
Don Cornelius, Dick Clark, big part, because you'd have Duran Duran or whoever back then. That's later in the 80s, whatever. But you'd have more Madonna on American Bandstand, but you have all the black artists on Soul Train. But we watched both. And when black artists got on American Bandstand, like Prince, we're like, whoa, you got big. It's all good. But then the music started coming flourishing, and you started getting into the music of it. And when the breakdancing started to die down in the mid 80s, and it started to die down, it came back to life again. That's when I paid more attention to my music. But yeah, so I started paying attention after the touring and the girls, whatever. I said, you know what? The music is what made me, into it. So I followed my DJ partners and came back to the station. What had happened was Mike Rollins gave the show to Hedley Brown. Hedley went to do Kipling's. Kipling's is long gone now, but Hedley was doing the rock and roll, whatever. Hedley left that, gave it to his brother Louis. Louis gave it to me and Modi, Maraku Daja, Dave Henry, and then we continued. And then a friend of mine, won't say his name, gave my own show. It was The Funk Show, then Destruction Productions, and then I was the background guy. Nobody knows this. You want the truth? I was the first person playing techno.
Wow.
All the Model 500, all the Juan Atkins, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson, Carl Craig, all these guys in Detroit, the guys who started techno in Detroit.
So when was this?
That was 1982.
Wow.
So I was in between the dancing and the DJing. But they gave us a show on the radio. We're 15 years old. Here, have a show. Who's going to hear it? We were 50 watts. It was either 30 watts or 50 watts. You could barely pick us up on a clock radio back then. And then it went to 100 watts. And then it went to 3,000 watts. And it blew up. Now you could hear us everywhere. That was back then. And then people started to, the city started to listen. They're like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, I remember listening to it when I was growing up.
You got to remember, like, CJBK and all those, they're playing The Look of Love, ABC and stuff like that. And, like, Phil Collins, whatever. But there was no black music. We were in control of that. We did that. We didn't know what power we had. We were little kids. We didn't know.
Yeah, totally.
Here's a freebie, go nuts. And then we just started playing music, and we never stopped. We still playing it. You know what I mean? That's just...
Yeah, that's legendary, man. I mean, that can become obsessive too once you get rolling on it, right? Especially in those times, because like you said, there was nothing else.
We were walking through the hallways of Saunders, my DJ partner, with ghetto blasters. And Saunders was 2,500 people. There was 8 black people in the school.
Wow.
And we were playing Run DMC. It's like that, loud, with big D-size 9 batteries. And the batteries run out. It gets slower. We're cranking these tunes and playing Roger Troutman Zap and not realizing we're breaking history.
Absolutely.
Because nobody else is playing black music in London. Nobody else is playing black music in London. We are doing it. And then we have a radio show too. We can go, and then somebody, I'm not going to mention names, gave me my own show. And when he gave my own show, I didn't speak like this. I didn't talk. I was an introvert, believe it or not. I didn't speak out loud. I didn't.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
See,
but all right.
I was very quiet. I didn't talk. I didn't have the gumption to say anything to anybody. But somebody puts one of these in front of your face and says, "Here, play your own music." I was the background guy playing the techno and the house music. I was the first person to play the house music. Me and Dennis Grant, bass DAs from also part of our crew back then, name drop. But I was the first person to play the 4/4 beats. Before there was raves, way before there was raves.
Way before. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the origin of it. When house music was so slow, like house music now is so slow compared to the house music I play, like I'm gonna play later on my show. It was crazy. But you're the first person playing that, and you're playing it on vinyl, by the way. Let's switch to that. We were playing it on vinyl, the vinyl sound. In fact, there was no controllers. I bought my controller from you, Ryan. There was no controllers. There was no MP3s. There was no CDs back then. It was pure vinyl. And I used to lug my records to the radio station at the bus stop with a bag of records on my shoulder. I had a dent in my shoulder for years from every single Saturday lugging those records to the radio station to break music in London, to give them new music.
Yeah, man.
And then the genres started to blossom. So it wasn't just funk anymore. It wasn't just hip hop anymore. It wasn't just house anymore. Then reggae came in, and an R&B came in, and somebody birthed acid jazz from California, and then gospel showed up. And we used to play. I used to play Miami bass music. Remember? And it might be Miami would do it, Florida would do it, and Detroit would do it. And it was very fast. Boom, boom, boom. You go to the clubs, it was like boom. It was like, but the bass drops. Like it was like all these hi-hats and drums, whatever, and then the bass would drop. You're like, well, but what you don't realize is those bass drops from the Miami bass stuff got you fashioned for drum and bass.
Right.
Because when drum and bass and jungle came along, those bass drops were ridiculous.
They were ridiculous. I remember one of the first times I heard jungle was at, I think it was a show at Western, and in the Wave, and I was
where I used to play.
Like,
where we used to play
I was,
the
like,
Wave.
I was like, what is this, man? This is crazy shit.
Where we used to play I used to DJ at the Wave, and Cardi used to hang out the Wave, and Chocolate we used to hang out the back of we used to see CHW was right there across from the Wave. And we used to kill it at the Wave. We used to kill it. Rick McGee, that guy's a legend.
Legend.
You want to know why Rick McGee's a legend? Because when I DJed at the Wave, they had all the speakers stacked to the wall, and you understand sound. And Rick McGee moved all the speakers so it sounded like a giant stereo system in your house. And it sounded fantastic. Rick McGee was I just loved that guy.
Oh yeah.
And we played in that system. It just sounded beautiful. We had breakdance battles there. The whole it was just beautiful. Just rocking in the Wave. The Wave, the Knack, the clubs, all the clubs. There's so many clubs. I can name off.
Well,
off the top of my head.
We met. We were talking about it earlier. We met at the Knack.
You don't remember? It's so long ago.
There's so many, and it's been so long. But we met at the Knack. And Dr. Disc, because we were talking about it earlier, we talk about vinyl. I mean, Dr. Disc is gone now in London.
But Mark Farakawa is still running in Hamilton.
Mark is still running, Hamilton.
Give Mark some love,
100%. Good on him. And there was people ask me, because I obviously running Music City Canada, and I say, oh yeah, I used to DJ back in the day, and I have people that ask me, they're like, oh, did you play on CDJs? What version did you play on? And I'm like, no, I never got the CDJs, man. Like I played on Denon dual CD players when I was doing some of the teen dances and stuff, that kind of stuff that I did at one point in my career. But no, man, I was on vinyl the whole time. I stopped on vinyl. Like I never actually got like the CDJ 1000s, 2000s, 2000 Nexus. I never got onto any of that. Now, my DJ partner at the time, shout out Sugar Ray Brown, I mean, he went on, to play at other clubs, Club Phoenix, and then the Frog. And so
I was the first DJ at the Frog.
Yeah, man. So I mean, he was playing on CDJs, and he'd be like, oh, I got to go to the washroom, play this track, that kind of thing. But it was like cheating, man, because it's all pretty, with the digital stuff now, it's all pretty much done for you if you want, If you want. And that's the thing, is some people are like, oh yeah, but I don't use it. It's like, all right.
It's so funny, Ryan, that you say that, because we were at Ichabod's, one of the Ichabod's, before Penrod's, Penzone, Club Large, and me and Sugar Ray and drum and bass had came out. And Sugar Ray, legend, as I say, knew about drum and bass and jungle. And what I knew, and I was already playing it from a guy called Gerald, from what I knew from the UK stuff I was already into, I was already playing at Radio Western. People didn't give props to the radio. I'm like, come on, where are you hearing your music from? Where's your source? Duh. Where are you buying your records? Where are you hearing it from? You got to hear it first from somewhere. So Ray had drum and bass, and I was standing right beside him. We're up in the tall thing, and he goes, Star, I want to play some drum and bass. I go, play it. He goes, they don't know what it is. I go, just play it. And he was playing reggae. And I go, it mixes, right? Drum and bass is the same tempo. It's just double time of reggae. So when you're dancing to reggae, you're like, doom, chicka, doom, chicka, doom. When you're dancing to drum and bass, it's the same thing. You're just like, doom, chicka, doom, chicka, doom, chicka, doom. It's the same thing. So he mixes it in, dance floor is packed, and as soon as he puts the drum and bass in, clears the dance floor. He's like, see? It's like, but we have to break the music, bro. And that was the beginning of drum and bass in London at a club with Sugar Ray, and I was right behind him telling him to do it. And I was already doing it on the radio. So
I miss those days, man. Those were.
And that was the clubs, man.
It was the clubs. Let's get into that. So the club scene, It's weird for me because I grew up in that. Like, my one of the first experiences I ever had at the Knack before even I was because I did a lot of shows there, where I was doing lights and stuff like that, even before I was DJing there. Um, my dad was doing a show. You work with my dad even
Yeah,
before even I was in this business.
yeah,
And my dad was doing a show there, and I don't remember who it was, but he was like, he wanted to bring my brother, or he had to watch us. My mom was going out or something, and my dad had to watch me and my brother. And my brother couldn't have been more than, I don't even know, like 7 or 10, or not
yeah.
even. He was young. No, he was younger than that. He was like 5 or 6 years old. He was really young. And so we were there earlier in the day because my dad was setting up and there was someone playing, a band playing, or someone, hip hop artist or something. And the DJ, it was right before they were going to open, and the DJ fired up the system and was playing some tunes. And my brother just starts dancing. My dad's like, "Whoa, okay." And my brother's just out of nowhere. This little kid just starts dancing, and all these people kind of started to notice.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, early days where my dad noticed that my brother was, kind of into that whole sort of, entertaining thing. And he ended up going off to acting school. And anyway,
Nice.
but yeah, that was so I had some pretty fond early memories at the Knack. But that was one of the first times I was even physically in a club. And I think I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. And then my dad built his own club, the Baja Club,
Heard of that.
with Earl Taylor from Kipling's,
Yeah.
and would
And
help.
Kipling's is where Hedley Brown, my DJ partner, was DJing
Exactly.
back
So when
then.
when I was really super young, my dad was doing all the sound there. Jim Shaw was mixing sound, and they were doing all these concerts, and my mom would go there. She would attend the club with her girlfriends and
Mhm.
stuff. And so Kipling's, and I would go to Kipling's with my dad, and I would, be during the day again, when it was closed, and Sorny was there, and we hang out, and I would look around and I'm, wow, this is a really, and I was young back then, remember, but I was like, "This is a really weird place," like, because it
It
was like a
was.
a big round ring,
Yeah.
with the bar in the middle, and it's like,
It was
"Where's
now I
the
think about
dance
it
floor?"
now I think
Like,
about it, Kipling's, from my memory, is the same setup that Oscago was.
it was.
It was.
It was,
And I
yeah.
remember going to see Hedley when he left us at Radio Western, and go to see Hedley at Kipling's, and he's playing rock and roll, and we're like, we're the kingpins of black music, and he's playing rock and roll. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" He goes, you'll
You'll
see."
see, yeah.
And now we do weddings all the time.
Well,
We're
it's
like, he's
yeah,
like,
well,
he's like,
I
"You'll
mean,
see."
you said it earlier, you were watching the American Bandstand, and you were watching.
Well, you had to if you were smart, like I went to Saunders again, like, the biggest high school, and I was in a rocker band, but at no point was I not paying attention to the I'm not trying to make a race of it, but when I was in a rocker band with all the rocker girls listening to April Wine and Cheap Trick and Supertramp, I was also listening all to Parliament and Gap Band, and, I wasn't
Absolutely.
shunning either side. And
Yeah.
now we wanna talk about music. Dave, what's his name from, what's the drummer for what's that? Uh, what's the guy? Kurt Cobain. Yeah,
David
yes.
Grohl, yeah.
You go interview him now. I saw an interview the other day, and he says, "Oh, all my drum riffs are stolen from the Gap Band and Soul Train." He goes, and we're like, "What?" He goes,
Well, I
he
was
goes,
just
"Duh,
gonna
duh, duh," and he's like, "I stole all that rock and roll stuff from the funk days." I'm like, "What?" You're like,
I
"What?"
was
And
just
your
gonna
mind's
say
like,
that. I was
like,
just gonna
and
say
it's just
that.
crazy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, even, yeah, man, even, I did a thing at my DJ conference, CDJ show. We had Earl Young from the Tramps. The
Hmm.
drummer from the Tramps came out and did a whole clinic. Flew up with his wife from New York, and it was absolutely incredible. And, he was the session drummer on a pile of those
Yeah.
those those tracks, like the Bee
Oh,
Gees and all
okay.
that stuff.
Let's go. Sorry, let's go over the pictures and get that out of the way. And what you just said, I'll go back to CHW and I'll give you a tasty little juicy one because like my memory's so much stuff. I was at Radio Western, the original Radio West, the Radio CHW, original CHW down in the basement. This is a true story. And we're doing all the black music we can. And we're in the on-air studio. And I was a kid. I was like 17, 16, I don't know, I was still dancing. This is not in the pictures. You won't find this in the pictures. And this guy is in the fishbowl. And this girl who I remember back then I can't remember who was interviewing. It was interviewing this guy. And we were so I don't want to say race. We weren't racist. We're just like we were all about the black music. We're like, who's this guy? And this guy had a high top fade. So you remember Kid and Play, right? With the high,
Mhm. Oh,
house
absolutely.
party and all stuff. So this guy
100%.
had a high top fade, and he's looking at me through the fishbowl. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "We're the masters. We're the guys with the black music. Who are you? And why are you getting interviewed?" I'm like, "Why are you getting interviewed? Who are you?" Because I didn't know who he was. And he's looking right at me, but whoever's interviewing him is looking at him, so she can't or he can't see me. I'm facing him. I'm looking at him like, high top fade. This guy trying to be black. Who is he? What the heck? You know who the guy was? Ed from Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh,
before they were anybody.
that's hilarious. That's
And I was looking at him like
crazy.
nobody. Like I'm like, who's this guy? And like years later, Bare Naked Ladies. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Isn't that
Wow. That
crazy?
is
And right
crazy.
there, I stopped being like that. And it's like, yeah, no, man, let people be people. And like,
Yeah,
come
man. Let
on, you know what I
everybody's
mean?
got their own journey,
Let
man.
people be people. And let people, yeah,
Absolutely.
you learn who, music is about where you were, not who you look like or whatever it is. Experiences like house music. I started house music. I met people on Richmond Row. And I see this guy. I'm like, what do you know about house music? It's Frankie Knuckles. And it's like this and this. And it's Chicago. And it's New York, whatever. And he starts dropping names. And he's telling me about all these different names. I'm like, how do you know this stuff? He goes, I'm from Chicago. I'm like, I'm from London and I know this.
Wow.
He goes, how do you know? I go, because I follow music. I'm a DJ.
Mm.
I'm not just a DJ. I'm a music lover. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So it's not your culture. You could be Chinese, Jamaican. You could be whatever. It's where you were in that timeline.
Yeah, it's part of the journey. It's and you have to bring it into your life too, right? Like some people get so wrapped up and so busy with the day-to-day of their life that they forget about the good times that music can bring, you know?
That's just it. The club scene was just off the chains, man.
Well, let's keep with that. So what was your favorite club in London?
You want to go there?
I do.
Of all the clubs I've played at,
Yeah.
the one club, I have to say, of all the clubs I've played at, is the one club, and I'm going to shout her out, Amira, who was my good friend from Ichabod's, that's how I knew her originally,
Yeah.
back in the Notorieties days, and Ichabod's, the original Ichabod's. And I worked at Ichabod's when everybody else was partying, and they're like, Star, why do you want to be behind the bar? They're watching you. I'm like, I don't care if they're watching me. I'm making money instead of spending money. You guys are spending money. And I knew that then. So years later, the same person I knew back then from when I was a kid gives me a chance to play at Old Chicago. But she's not like Chris from the Ramp. She's not like all the people who are like, telling me what not to play at the Caribbean Club, what not to play. You should need to play this music at Barking Frog, Barney's, where I was first DJ, Seeps, where I was the first DJ. They're not telling me what not to play. She said, you got to play what you played back in the day. And I said to her, you know, there's white people in Canada, right? But she gave me full rate. She's going to love this. She gave me full rate. And that is my favorite club because it's the only club of all the clubs I've played at that for 3.5 years, hundreds of people came back year after year because this DJ knew what he was doing. We had 3 sets. The band hated me. Those guys are friends of mine now. Doug Vardy and all those
John
guys.
Knapp.
And John Knapp, they're friends of mine now. Rest in peace, Colin.
Yeah.
He was a bass player. Those guys hated me because I remember saying to them, I go, the days of a DJ being intermission for a band, love for you bands, but and I said this to them when I first met them, the days of a DJ being intermission for a band are over. We're the masters. We be all that we can be. We're not your intermission. We're not holding up. We're not going to be soft for you. We're not going to turn on the engineering, the bass down. No, we're going to come hard and we're going to come loud. So try to match us. Don't try to stifle us.
Yeah.
And the band hated me. And when I did, they had their set. They had their 90-minute set. I had my 90. We had 3 sets. And their lights went on and my lights went off. And my lights went on and their lights went off. And they had their crowd in front of them. And 650 people at that bar. It's 2024. We're still talking about Old Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Because they gave me full rank to do what I want. And in 3 sets, the first set, play your Britney Spears, play your NSYNC, play your 98 Degrees, play all your stuff that you know they want. Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Second set, they're getting a little bit drunker. Let's warm up. Third set, oh, what do you mean Amir lets me play what I want? What? So I can play house music? I can play techno? I can play reggae? I can play funk? I can play funk? And the people and the bartenders and everybody for 3.5 years loved it. And they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because there's no clubs. I mean, you talk about this, the club thing we're talking about. There's no clubs anymore.
Yeah. So
there's restaurants, there's bars.
So what's
there's
up
pubs.
with that? What's your opinion on that? What's up with that?
Stop faking it. You want me to go there? Stop faking it. Stop putting DJs in a restaurant or a bar or a pub. I'm going to say it. Stop faking it. Either do it or don't do it.
Yeah. Somebody told me it was
It's fair. Get off the pot. Don't. Why would you hire a good DJ? And I know a lot of really good DJs in town. Melting Man, Daz, Everfresh, Ruckus. These are my boys, you know what I mean? And I'm not even naming my DJ partners, you know what I mean? Mr. Groove and Edley, and don't hire a good DJ to be in a bar and make that club environment like we used to have in the 90s, but don't go full force. It's just background. It's just there. It'll do. Because we know about clubs. I was telling your boy there that Jazzy Jeff was a friend of mine. And Jazzy Jeff plays in big clubs. When you get paid 50, 60, 70 grand to play in a club, play like you play on your Twitch, your Facebook Live, your whatever podcast you're doing. Play like you play at home. Don't hold back. How many chances do you get to live?
Well, this is it.
Right? You only
Yeah,
live
yeah.
once, so you're gonna hold back?
No, no, no.
And here's the problem, and I hashtag problem as Stormzy would say, grime artist. Here's the problem. When the producers and the artists and the bands are making the music, when they stop making good music, I'll stop playing good music.
Well, yeah,
That's
of
my
course.
drive. People say, Starchild, why you play some Starchild? Why you play such wicked music? Why you so against the grain? Why you playing whatever? I go, when they stop making good music, I remember when we were getting records from PRS and whatever for right next door, and the records coming out, you'd feel a drought sometimes. You're like, oh, the records are coming in a free pool. It's not good enough. Now it's 2024. You have this thing called the internet. You can get music anywhere, anytime. It's up to you. You don't, it's not force fed to you. You can go out and I see people on my Facebook, I don't have any new music. What do you mean you don't have any new music? I play new music every single weekend on my show. We'll get to that. You know what I mean? Every
Mhm.
single weekend. We have so much new music, and we're the old school guys who started in 79, 80, but are still playing new music and breaking new music. You have no excuse. You have no
Yeah.
excuse for your clubs. You have no excuse for your radio. You have no excuse for your, you
There's
know.
a essay, there's a photo that I think I've labeled as number 2, that I found, uh, no, number 3,
Mm.
number 3. There it is.
Oh, dude,
I found this on your Facebook.
dude,
These are some,
original logos.
yeah, original logos,
I'm Joe
some
Cool's
old
alumni.
school.
I played Joe Cool's 40th anniversary. They were trying to get somebody else to do that.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. I got 4 encores for that. Dr. Rocket's picture. I have my shirt somewhere, so you're not going to find that anywhere. Ichabod's original club that we were just talking about, CHW. That's actually the second one because that's CHW 94.9, not CHW 94.7, which is where it really originally started when we started when it was only 30 watts.
I didn't even know that.
Monopoly, yeah, it was 2 different stations. Monopoly would then turn into Phoenix.
Yep.
That was first there too. DV8, hello, right?
Hello.
The
Yeah.
Knack and the Wave, when they're both battling, the Knack and the Wave were both battling, and I DJ'd at both clubs at the same time, and they were both battling, which was crazy. They had the buses
And
all
then
over,
there's
and then old
Amira,
Chicago.
Ichabod's and
There you
old
go.
Chicago's.
And
Yeah,
that's just old now because lately I've done Fitzray's, I did Joe Cool's again, I've done Marconi Club, I do Squire, I did Squire New Year's Eve. It's just it's like
How long you been DJing now?
this year, KNR1 and Rising Sound FM this year, this summer, July will be on radio on and off 44 years.
Wow. Legend, man. Legend, like I said.
Nah, what are you
Come
talking
on,
about? We just
man.
started yesterday. What? There's people in 92 talking about they started the whole game. They started the game in 92, right? Because that's, if you, where's my calculator? It was 92 the
Nah.
beginning.
Come
Was
on.
92 the, look at the
No,
smile.
no,
Is
no.
92 the beginning? Because I
No,
think
of
maybe
course not.
79 and 80 might be before that. Maybe, just maybe.
Just maybe.
Maybe.
It's all good.
Just saying.
But yeah, no, I mean, man, I didn't get to go to, I mean, I was at Ichabod's back in the day, but not as an attendee. Like I used to sell some gear to the family and stuff. Sid, back in the day, used to be running it. He used to buy gear from me and stuff. And but like what an incredible journey, all of this stuff is that we had.
Shout out to Mark GTs, by the way. Shout out to Mark, which is right
Oh,
next door. Shout out to Mark
absolutely.
GTs,
Absolutely.
who sold it to
GT's.
Carol and Andy GTs at Port Stanley, who are also my friends. Shout out to
Yeah,
them.
they're
You know what I mean?
legendary, man.
Shout out to Barry Woody, who started the whole jazz system in London, CTW. I had to plug that too. It's all coming back to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. No,
Yeah.
you know what? Those were all, I mean, GTs was an incredible part of my life. I mean, not only did I do a lot of work for Mark and Mark back in the day
Yeah.
at GTs on Richmond, but spent a lot of time in there as a patron.
Yeah.
Right. I never DJ'd there myself, but I attended, as a patron back in the day and many times,
Yeah.
and it was incredible. It was an incredible part of my journey too.
So you're saying that we were saying about the club scene though now in 2024, and it's, I don't want to seem like it's a sad thing, but if you're gonna I don't think this generation understands what we lived
Well, so there's multiple layers to it. So one of the things I heard was that insurance is a cause because people use the pandemic. So insurance companies, I mean, we knew it. We knew it coming in because even in the days of the drink and that there was a bunch of stuff towards the end of days of the drink before it turned to Cowboys, where there was a bunch of weapons things that were happening and fights and so the liability
through. Well,
factor.
we can
The
you
liability.
can edit this out later, but the whole Monopoly and Phoenix thing, there's a whole bunch of drug stuff going on in the parking
Yeah,
lot.
so the liability,
Like,
the
that was crazy.
liability of it all, right, for insurance companies, I get it, right? So they kind of, from what I heard, they've kind of used the pandemic as a way to kind of get out,
Yeah.
and said, okay, well, if you serve food, then you are essential, so we'll give you insurance, you can open whatever. And now coming out, it's like, oh well, we're not going to insure clubs anymore.
Mm.
So this is the thing. So This is what I've heard. I don't own a club, but this is I've talked to a few of the owners, and
I'm
this is what
today
I've heard.
years old hearing about this.
Yeah, so this is what I've heard. And so that's a thing. So okay, well, fine. But like, as a country and as a province and as a city of London, like we have to look at this and go, is this the best thing for our culture?
Yeah.
Because culturally, if you look at, it's like, I worked on a committee to get us UNESCO designation for, City of Music here. And if you look at other cities of music, quote unquote, like Nashville and some of these places, Austin, the culture of music there is very vibrant. It's
Mhm.
very amazing, and people come from all over the world for things like South by Southwest in Austin. Nashville has the Country Music Awards. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff that people go there for their bachelorettes, all this stuff. But it's the music that built. It was built on the backbone of the music and the people that built that culture
Yeah.
that have made that what it is. And even if you want to go all the way back, talking about Chicago, go all the way back to the days of Al Capone. I mean, it was the big bands. It was the big bands of Chicago that brought. There was all these, guys from New York coming to Chicago to do business, and they were obsessed with these big bands from Chicago
Mhm.
and that sound, and they wanted to bring that sound to New York. And it was that interaction between the mob in Chicago and the business guys in New York where eventually the mob was like, yeah, you know what? We'll book our bands in New York, but we were going to book the bands. And they
Mhm.
became the first booking agents.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what I look at is it best culturally for us to not have a place where you can go and dance, where you can go and experience that positive musical energy. And I think that it's so important for us to have that opportunity for the current and future generations to be able to come together and experience what we experience. It's fundamental. And I don't you are 100% right when you say that people don't understand what they're missing, because we had this, and I talked to someone who hit the nail on the head from a club owner standpoint. They're like, you know, we had 2+ years of university students that didn't go out to the clubs. So, like Joe Cools is the example. Shout out to Sam and his brother
Mhm.
Charlie.
Yep.
Sam and me had a
Like, my boy, who do
conversation.
you think hooked me up for the 40th anniversary? Charlie hooked that up for me.
So
Yeah.
and shout out to their father Mike, who's been a legend in my
Needy,
life, who
needy,
supported me for
needy.
decades,
Yep. Yep.
right? But I had a conversation with Sam, and he'll remember this. Is like I said, hey, you guys are getting a younger crowd in here now at Joe Cool's,
Oh, the demographics changed, and
and I'm
you
like, what happened here? And
yeah.
he's the one that said it. He's like, we had 2 years where the students didn't come out, so all of a sudden, people are going out. They see Joe Cool's. They're like, oh, Joe Cool's. This is a cool looking place. Let's go hang.
Mhm.
They don't realize that like for 40 years, this has been a place for the established local like middle age slash crowd,
My picture's
right?
still in
Alumni crowd,
my picture's still on the wall.
right?
And since you went there, Ryan, let's talk about this is something we didn't put on our list. Let's make sure we don't miss anything on the list. Let's just jump in this. Industry night.
Yes.
Industry night back at Jim Bob Ray's days.
Mhm.
Industry night is what people it was what people don't understand what it was. Industry night was because everybody worked Monday to Saturday, what it may be,
Saturday. Yeah.
hairdressers, what it may be. I remember being at Jim Bob Ray's and all the industry people from every restaurant, wherever, that was their day off. So you'd be at Jim Bob Ray's and you see people with their shirts on from different places because that was their day. That was what industry night was. Call the office, Jim Bob Ray. That's what industry night was. And then somewhere along the line, the students got a hold of it and changed the whole game and changed the whole name. And
Mhm.
we'll go. And I was like, do you guys even know the origin of what? Again, talking about origin at the beginning of the story. Do you know what industry night is about? And nobody knew.
No.
Nobody knew. And then it
Industry
just
night
and
was
that's what
amazing.
that's what changed. I'm like, industry night was basically a day off for everybody who works, and that's their party night.
Yeah.
That's what industry night was.
It was
But if you want to go
amazing.
further back, since I'm an old guy and I know further back, notorieties, we used to party on a Monday. We used to all dressed in black, me and Aquaviva and Melting Man and black, like in black
Yeah.
on a Monday. We were kids on a Who goes out and parties on a Monday? And don't even get me started about the embassy. We partied on a
Mm.
Monday. All of us DJs, capital J, all of us were all there on a Monday. The building's back to a different building now, but you know what I mean? This was an industry night of club kids,
Yep.
you know what I mean? That people don't understand it was most important about the club. And we've talked about this. There's priorities of why you go out to the club. We've talked about this. Do you go out to drink? Do you go out to hook up or do you go out for the music? In what country, what city do you go out, and
Yep.
in what order?
It
You
was
go to
for
Spain, you don't see people maybe go out in Spain. I put it this way. See that stool over there? You can't see the stool. If Janet Jackson and Sting were sitting on that stool in a club in London singing, it's Janet Jackson and Sting. You pay, if it's Taylor Swift, you pay millions of dollars to go see Taylor Swift, right? But if
mhm.
it's Janet Jackson and Sting sitting on that stool singing on a good mic, and you walk by and there's nobody in that bar, people are like, there's nobody in there. We're not going in there. I'm like, but it's Janet Jackson and Sting. They go for the people, the amounts, it's numbers, it's not quality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
See what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
My
So
dad
if there was 100 people in there and Janet Jackson Sting singing, oh, what's in there? Oh, there's 100 people. They're going for the people, not the artists.
over the years, I've had, the pleasure of talking to and helping out a lot of club owners, and I always would tell them something that my dad would say. My dad back in the day, whether it was Baja Club times or even before during Kipling's and that, my dad had this saying, right? And he would say that, you got to be the place to be.
Hmm.
And that was what it always came down to, is if you're the place to be, then you got to line up down the street.
Yep.
And everybody wants to be in there, and everybody wants to know the doorman to get them in. And
Sid knew that Ichabod's days. Yep. Hoover was running notes before Ricky. Rest in peace, Ricky. Ricky's. You knew that back in the day. You know what I mean? Old Chicago knew that. It was
got to
lined
be
up
the
down
place
the
to
freaking. You know what
be.
I
And
mean?
if you're not the place to be, you can change anything you want, but it's not gonna matter. And in London, there was always this weird thing, and about this, is like, as a new club, if you get the chance to achieve that and you're the place to be now,
Mhm.
if you don't keep it fresh, you got 5 years.
Yep.
That's it. You
Yep.
got 5 years, and then you got to rebrand, change the name, change the vibe, change everything.
Yep.
Right. And so, we've seen that come and go, me and you, many times. But I think that for me, if I had to say, out of those things that you mentioned, hookup, drinks, and dancing, music, it was always about music and dancing for me. It was always about the
For
vibe.
us, because we're musician people, for us, but for the general pop, for the gen pop, it
Yep,
was about hooking up.
it was. It was. And
If anything, it was drinking and hooking. But you go to Greece and you go to West Indies and you go to UK, it's not like that. You even go to Toronto, some places it's not like that. I
no.
would go to Toronto just to go to clubs that's not about that.
Well, I
You know
remember
what I mean? So
I
it's
remember
like,
getting a phone
I want to
call.
go and dance. I'm a dancer first. I'm a dancer first. I want to go someplace and dance. I don't care about hooking up or
No,
drinking. I would go and dance someplace and don't drink a drop all night.
I
You know what
did
I mean?
well, when I went to Amsterdam, that's all I wanted to do, was go to the parties to dance and listen to the music.
But you
That was
don't.
it.
But the music's got to be good. So, do you want to go to a club, not a pub, not a
No, it was
bar,
a
a
club.
restaurant? Do you want to go to a club and listen to? I don't want to say names and listen to radio music.
No, no, because no, no,
I
no,
do
no.
weddings and I don't play
No, I
radio
want to
music
feel the
anymore.
vibe. You can't get the vibe off radio
There
music.
used to be a time I grew up in New York when I was younger, like in the summers. I saw Grandmaster Flash. Now Raheem of Grandmaster Flash Reviews Friends is actually my Facebook friend, which I didn't think back then. It's just legendary. I have the albums and a whole bit. But I watched Grandmaster Flash at a block party when I
Mm,
was 11 years old, when Star Wars came out. That was 1977. That was 1977, bro. I was a little kid
crazy.
at a block party in New York. I didn't think anything of it then, but I didn't realize and that was before Deborah Harry, by the way. That was before Rapture. I know Rapture was first.
Mm.
No, it wasn't. By the way, hip hop didn't start in '92. Cold Crush Brothers was before Sugar Hill Gang, which was a studio song, by the way. The clubs, Cold Crush Brothers, before Grandmaster Flash did that first, for the record. And 3 of the Cold Crush Brothers are friends of mine now. Gave me drops my show, so just plugging them too. Like that's crazy. It's like, tell the story from the beginning, not the middle or the.
So I agree with you. I think, well, like, when I remember back in the day, DV8 especially, it was definitely about hooking up. It was definitely about meeting people,
Yeah.
dancing, grinding. Guys would grind on girls because a lot of
Ramp, Century, Pompeii, Kit Kat. Oh, let's name some clubs. 1010 on Dundas, The Shot, The Base,
yep,
Shakers, um,
shakers and spooners.
Spooners. Shakers had raves there. Huggy was doing raves there.
I remember that.
I was playing in the main room. I played in the main. Huggy was like, "You play in the main room. Look at all the other guys in the other room." I'm like, "Cool." And I just murdered it in the main room. And by the time you get to that tunnel and put your coat check, whatever, you went to the main room, was playing the top 40 stuff. Nobody wanted to be over there anymore because I was killing all the underground music in the first room. Like, he's like, "Stop playing underground music." I'm like, "This isn't underground music. It's new music you haven't heard yet. And you'll hear it next week on the radio because we're breaking music." story to tell you.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that's what DJs
That's
were
what
all
you're
about.
supposed to do as a DJ. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
And here's the thing I'll say, and I'll say it in 2024, Starchild, MWS, every single song, even if you're scared of it, every single song was a new song once.
That's right.
Every Taylor Swift song, every top 40 song, the first time you heard it, it was a new song once. So when you hear new music, it was a new song once.
Absolutely.
So stop being scared of new music.
No,
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. I
that's
mean,
crazy to me. You know what I mean?
I think when I think back about my times in the clubs, that's what it was all about. It was all about breaking music. And like we talk about Dr. Disc, but I used to drive to Toronto and I used to go to Play the Record, Tracks,
I went to play the record.
Release, all those stores.
Detroit, Record Time, Records for
Record
You,
Time.
Buy Right.
Yep.
Dude, play the record.
And we
Toronto.
would go there. We would take all that time, all that energy, all that money. Oh my God. We would go there. I would spend almost all my DJ pay on vinyl. And we would come back and we would be so excited. We would break these records.
Yep.
Literally. And then I got
Imagine having a radio. Imagine you buy records as a DJ and you can play in a club, right?
Mhm.
I'm not trying to oversee or whatever, but imagine you're young and you do the same thing. You go to these record stores, you spend your hard-earned money on these records. And a lot of times too, you're starting to do like corporate functions, whatever. So you're buying underground records. But imagine you have a radio show. So you're like, I'm gonna murder this on my show. I'm the only one doing this, right? But then imagine me and my DJ partners talk about this all the time. But then you have to buy NSYNC, you have to buy Britney Spears because you're playing at the club. Like, you guys understand this. Now you can download something 2 seconds, no problem.
Well,
but imagine spending money on Britney Spears when you don't want to buy Britney Spears, but you have to buy Britney Spears because the people want to hear Britney Spears. So you have to buy that record when you really want to buy LL Cool J and underground stuff and Method Man and Redman, and you really want to break that new nasty stuff or whatever. But you're buying the mainstream stuff, so you have to budget and like, okay, here's the cheesy stuff. You know, rhythm is a dancer, that's great, whatever. It's like,
no, man, I was
but
gonna.
then you have to make sure you're killing it, you're groundbreaking. Most of the mainstream DJs didn't want anything to do with the underground stuff. I remember being at Dr. Dis, me and Rez and Daryl and Farakawa. I remember being at Dr. Dis for the shipment on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, the records came in. I remember being there and all the DJs were down there. Oscar was down there. I remember just dropping names like crazy. Everybody was down there on a Wednesday. We came in for shipments and everybody would judge you on what records you got. They would look at you and judge you. And I was Starchild on the radio. And I wasn't just your normal club DJ. I was a club DJ and radio DJ. They didn't have the radio. I had the radio. And I was all about remixing stuff. P. Diddy did remix stuff first. We did. We're the masters. So I was all about you either buy a song for a song and it's a really good song, or you buy a song thinking this song will make this song and this song together. If I mix it, it'll make a new song. Nobody thought that way.
I used to do that with Acid back in the day.
Right?
Yeah.
So people would frown at me, like, Star, what are you buying that song? Song sucks. I'm like, wait, just wait. And I go on my show, take that song. I was the first, I mixed this, the first thing I did on a cassette tape. And nobody else, your dad will know this. Your dad will know this. It's a song called Friends of Mr. Cairo. It's an old rock and roll song. It's a very slow song. And there's a song called Bass Mechanic by MC80. By the way, MC80 gave me a drop because he's my friend now. This is crazy to me. I took the instrumental of MC80 Bass Mechanic, slowed it down, and took Friends of Mr. Cairo, which is a rock and roll song, a very, very white song, and a very, very black song, and mixed it, recorded it on my Nakamichi, played it on Radio Western, and the phones wouldn't stop ringing. People were mad at me.
Wow.
And it's still historic to this day because it was the first collab ever done in London, Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
I knew the white people would be mad. I knew the black people would be mad, but I knew they'd pay attention.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man.
It's an epic song with an epic song, and it brought the two worlds together, and I knew they'd pay attention. And to this day, that was the beginning of collabs right there. And now you got collabs everywhere. You got Shaggy and Sting. You had freaking Public Enemy.
Man, you got country and hip hop.
And now in 2024, you got. I've seen country death metal on videos. I'm like, what is that? It's Jamaica. What is the?
It's crazy.
It's crazy the collab.
I was doing, like I mentioned, Acid, which is the software I was using at the time in the '90s. But me and my friend Admar, we were DJ. It was my first DJ partner, and actually Sugar Ray did our logo. That's how I met Ray. I talked to B Large, shout out B Large, from Cream Entertainment. We were doing some stuff with B Large in the all ages, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got this guy Ray. He does logos." And Ray did me and Admar's DJ logos, and that's where I met Ray. And then later on, me and Ray became DJ partners. But anyway, me and Admar, we were here, not maybe 25 feet from where we're sitting right now. There was a room. It's all torn down. My grandfather tore it down years ago. But there was a room that was off to the other side, and my dad had a computer set up in there, a desktop computer, and We had loaded acid onto it, the software, and me and him were doing what's now called mashups.
Mm.
You know, and that we just, well, wait a minute, this track, this acapella sounds good over this instrumental,
Yeah.
and we just
But
started.
now, Ryan, it's now called what do they call it? We have the and we've been doing, like you were saying, it's the what is it? What is it? It's on the controllers. The stems.
Stems, yeah,
Stems.
yeah,
So all the
yeah.
dance hall guys are all. I'm learning this now. I'm an old guy, but they're like, we're taking the stems. We're taking because they're getting the clean vocals and they're getting the
Yes.
clean bass out of it, and they're ripping it clean. There's no turn down the filters, whatever. They're just getting it clean and remixing everything. Like we've been doing this.
We've been
We've been doing
doing
this.
it for over 30 years, way back.
We didn't have the technology to do it clean. I take
No.
the vocals out or not
Well,
pitch it right. You mean?
I had to try and find the pieces of vinyl that had the acapellas.
Right? Because records back then had the clean version, the dirty version, the appended version,
Yep.
the acapella version. There's like 5 versions on a single record.
I got into record pools. I was in sheer record pool. Ray was in spinners, and then I ended up getting into spinners. But that was interesting. That was an interesting time because in the record pools, and I think back now, it was crazy how much money those labels were spending. Because you talked about going out and having to buy like one of those Britney Spears records or whatever. Those record pools, those record labels were putting out records in those pools by the thousands and thousands of records they were pressing
You're
of all these
preaching the choir. I was on
remix.
Sony. I was on Universal. I was getting all those.
But
I was saving
we
so
were
much
getting
money.
those vinyls, and some of those remixes were just, they weren't good.
Yeah.
And like I would have to rate them and whatever, but I've got like a stacks of these vinyls, and I can't. I have them like as decor in my studio downstairs here in Studio A at Charterhouse because like I can't throw them out. I just it's vinyl.
It's the hard copy.
But it's like, to me, it was nowadays, and shout out to Nick Ferrucci and Zip DJ, he was on my episode 1. Now we've got digital DJ pools, which is like, crazy because, you log into this digital DJ pool, boom, here's all this stuff. I mean, I would, in some ways, I would have killed for that back in the day,
So what do you think about, and Metallica did it, Prince did it. It is a different subject, but you were talking about the pools and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So now music's so easily accessible, and I spent $1,000 besides getting records in the pools. I spent $1,000 on my
So did I.
records.
Absolutely.
Me and my DJ partners are now talking about is it cumbersome? Is it hoarding? Like no. That's still like
No, it's an investment then. It's an investment now.
It's not even about the money to me though, Ryan. It's about those are my babies. Like I pull out a record, like, oh my God, this is a hard copy. That's put it this way. I'm Googling and Shazamming and listening to radio stations on the internet right now, finding songs and finding albums. Oh, that's a wicked song. Finding a song on an album. Then I see the album cover on Shazam, and I have the freaking record. I'm an idiot. That's the stupidest thing ever. Why am I going to go download that when I have the record over there in the corner somewhere? I can just pull out and play it on my turntable. This is stupid.
I got all my vinyl, and Ray had got rid of some of his, or almost all of his.
That's how I got my vinyl. My vinyl got bigger because people like Ray got rid of theirs and gave it to me.
And then he got a bunch of it back, and then I've heard multiple people have done that. Get downsize and then get it back. But to me, it's interesting because, like I told you earlier, I stopped DJing. I was still playing on vinyl. And, obviously my family were big into the sound system game. I was doing a lot of club systems back in the day in the 90s and stuff. And, me and you talked about this before, and I know I asked you to come on here and talk about this, but, vinyl versus digital, vinyl versus MP3. And it's like, to me, I just talked to someone, I think it was literally yesterday, and they asked me, they're like, I don't understand. It was last night, actually. I was at a party, and somebody was like, I don't understand. Like, what's the big deal about vinyl? And do you need...
started the game, bro. Grandmaster Flash, the block parties.
No,
the
but
OG.
but it's the
cool
sound,
herd.
man. It's the sound.
Don't even get me started on what's that? What do they call it? Audio files? Audio files. I remember I didn't know what audio files were back in the Mr. Sound days, and they're really thick records. And the sound of these freaking things, it's like you're at an orchestra. It's not a normal record. It's not a thin piece of promo record. It's a thick record, and it sounds fantastic. And you need to go to like a stereo store and buy a $6,000 stereo to listen to these. And it's not a turntable. It's a record player you play these records on. I'm not even there yet. I've been doing this for 44 years. I'm not even there yet to have those kind of records that you want to listen to. You know what I mean? That's the difference right there between all the other formats we've had for music. And when I see people throwing records away,
No,
I have a
no, you
record.
can't do
Oh
that.
man, I
Can't
have
do
a
that.
record at somewhere in my sea of records. It's got Elvis Presley on one side and Biggie Smalls on the other side, and it's worth a lot of money because it's a mistake.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a mistake. It's a mistake. It's a misprint, but because it's a mistake, the rarity of that is worth a lot of
Wow.
money. And some fool would throw that away and put it in the curb. Like, what are you nuts? Where are you gonna get that
Yeah.
mistake again? That's just nuts.
I explained last
But
night.
mind you, I would never sell it.
No,
You know what I
no,
mean?
dude, I haven't sold a single ounce
But
of my
and the other
vinyl,
thing, when
and I
you buy
won't.
comic books, you buy hockey cards, whatever. We weren't smart enough back then when we were younger, when I was younger, to buy 2 or 3. One to sell, one to keep, and one to put in the case somewhere. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you have one, oh, it's worth a lot. Its price is worth a lot of money, but are you going to sell it? No, because then once you sell it, it's gone.
It's gone,
That's
and
why I keep my records. That's why I keep my records.
amen.
I'll get rid of my promo records, the ones that I've got records at home that I know which ones are the promos because all my records that I've listened to or worth something have plastics on them.
Mm.
What's that record store in London? Still, what the
Which one? Grooves?
No, not Grooves. The other one. There's another one I used to get my plastics from. It used
Oh,
to be on. It used to be on Richmond. It's still here. I think it's still here. I used to get all my outer. Is it Steels? What?
which one? I don't
Oh,
even know.
I didn't really buy a lot of records there, but I used to get my plastics from my.
Okay.
Oh, it's Steel City Rec. No, what is it? There's somewhere in London. Think it's still here. He's moved. But yeah, so all my records that have plastics on them and have my DJ Starchild stamp, I go, yeah, that's something. At some point in my life, and those are the records that you pull out, find your turntable if you have a needle and a tone arm, put needle on a record, and then go back in your past and go, why the heck did I buy this? But don't think about your now age, who we are now, because you'll think back and go, sweat, you sweat, gonna make you like, that song now.
So are you playing? You're playing on MP3, not MP3s, but you're playing on.
We are playing on Tractor, Native Instruments,
Yeah,
the S4 I bought from you,
yeah.
which I haven't even engaged in everything that S4 can do, and the new ones are supposed to be coming out, whatnot. But you're now a producer, remixer on the fly
But for the
because
longest time, you were like dead set against. You were like the vinyl guy.
before we even crossed over to CDs or MP3s, it took me so long to transition because a CD screws up, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And MP3, your laptop dies, you're screwed. But you know what doesn't screw you over? A mixer and 2 turntables. You're laughing. You got a crate of records, and you got 400 people in a party. Your laptop dies, you're screwed. You get that the blue face of death. But you got a turntable. When the brownout happened, remember the brownout when all the power went out?
Yeah.
There's a place on Adelaide, right by my house, Cora's. And when the brownout happened, I remember tasting room. Shout out to Pam and Carl. And more shout outs. Everybody's getting plugs today. Everybody's getting plugs. You get a car. You get a car. But when that brownout happened, and it was not just London, and it was not just Canada, it was California had it a whole bit. Cora's, that restaurant, was flourishing and it was packed. You want to know why? Because they were old school. They were the only restaurant that they didn't have debit because the machines were down because there was no power. They had an old clickety clunk cashier register, and they were taking cash only. Oh, isn't it ironic that was a long time ago and it was cash only? Now we're looking at cash only as a big whatever. But the place was packed because they were old school and they were taking cash only. People had cash. I want my breakfast. Here's your cash. Boom, done. The place was packed. Everybody else that had computers and laptops, dead. Nothing.
Yep.
Because there was a brownout. Had no power. Couldn't keep their freezers cold. Think about it.
I know.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the moral of the story. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Early days for digital, I remember John Coe and was working with Aquaviva.
Stop. Jonathan Coe used to visit me at Radio Western. He was nobody. He used to come visit me and Modi at the radio station. He was nobody. He's still my friend. Him and Aquaviva and the whole +8 thing, whatever, the whole time codes, whatever. You know what Coe's doing now? He's in Japan playing with. He's still my Facebook friend. He was a little lackey nobody. This guy's like, I don't get to play in Japan. I've got friends that play all over the world, and I've had this where they say, Starchild, you are of the rank of international DJ. But I had my son, Xavier, shout out Xavier, my boy. Bad Boy Bill himself told me this.
We got a photo. Where's the photo?
Yeah, Xavier's in there somewhere.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that boy. Yeah, look at my beautiful boy.
There he is.
They're gonna love that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But Bad Boy Bill and Aquaviva and different people have said to me, international DJ life, and Meltman has told me this, international DJ life is not what you think it is. The grass is not greener. Like, what do you mean? Bad Boy Bill said to me, he goes, the layovers. Bad Boy Bill has a
Mm.
huge house. Caesar and Ruckus told me
Yeah.
this. Huge house in Chicago. There's Chicago legends. But they never get to see their house because they're always touring. And 12-hour layovers in an airport.
Yep.
Whatever. So you have to dedicate your life to that world, that life. On my show every single weekend, I play like an international DJ. I play hard, I play funky, and I just kill it. And I have many favorites. And I play like that. And I'm lonely sometimes. I'm like, oh, nobody's watching the show or whatever, and the whole bit. But then, celebrity people tune in. And I think, do I want to be grass is greener? Do I want to be out there do that? Yeah, part of me wants to go out there and do that. Nithin, who's my Nithin was on BBC One Extra. Nithin grew up listening to me.
I haven't seen.
Nittin
We went to high school
Capital
together.
J grew up
I haven't seen that guy
Capital
in
J was
forever.
international DJ. He still is. I mean, these are boys who are my boys, man. You know what I mean? Grew up listening to me on Radio Western. This is why we have to tell the story, because these guys who are international DJs, I'm not trying to piggyback from them, just to my boys, but I'm saying when they said, yo, Starchild, you begat me, you know what I mean? Just like the old school DJs, Glenn and Mr. Brown, and Lewis's dad, and Trevor Barnes, who's Everfresh's dad, by the way, who we used to listen to on Cleveland radio, which most people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
See? You're learning something. When we were kids, we were listening to Cleveland radio, trying to get funk stations that were clear. We used to listen to, we used to put the ghetto blaster up to the speaker and listen and record it live. Like, there's no internal, just record it live. You hit it all static and you try to adjust the antenna. We were old school, man, like old school. Wow. So all the stuff, let me just shout out two people right now. I have to. If I don't do this, they'll kill me. The Wizard in Detroit. The Wizard, who's now Jeff Mills, his real name. He's a legendary techno guy. But before that, he was the Wizard. He used to play on 4 turntables in Detroit, and all of Detroit would just lose their minds. But before the Wizard, there's a guy, and his name is the Electrifying Mojo. And Mojo is a god. Everybody looks up to Mojo. And Mojo changed the face of everything. He's one of the reasons why we are who we are. Because Mojo started techno. And let me just explain this the way Mike Banks from Underground Resistance said this on BBC One Extra. Techno wasn't just a sound. Techno was a style of music collaboration. And that means Mojo played everything. Mojo would play B-52's Rock Lobster, not Love Shack, Rock Lobster. And then he would play Rick James. And then he would play Prince. And then he would play classical. Mojo was so hardcore. And we grew up listening to Mojo. This is what we fashioned from. Mojo was such a big radio DJ announcer in Detroit. Mojo had this power, like Malcolm X, like Martin Luther King.
Wow, that's big.
This is back in the 80s. This is why we got into music. Where it's like Mojo would do his show, the Electrifying Mojo, and he was just so ominous. And police helicopters would be looking down on Detroit, and Mojo would get on his mic and go, "Turn your porch lights off, turn your porch lights on." And the police helicopters would see patches of Detroit blacking out like a brownout. That's power in a DJ right there.
That's amazing.
So when I'm doing CHW 20 years later, 15 years later, and I got people calling me from Fanshawe Park, and they're all camping. And this is what happened. This is a true story. They're camping, and they call me DJ Starchild. This is when I was famous. I'm nobody now. I'm nobody now. This is three stations, 3 shows. But back then on CHW, people were calling me, "Yo, Starchild, we're camping. There's about 1,000 of us camping, and we're all tuned into your show."
Wow.
I control 49% of the city. 49% of the city. I wanted to be second. I don't mind. Bruce Lee's like, be second. Seinfeld said, be second. You have a entire campground. They all have ghetto blasters or whatever. This is before booster speakers, whatever. And they're all tuned into your show. And then the Honda Club calls me. They're in a parking lot. There's freaking 20 cars. They call me. Starchild, we're all tuned into your show. You know where I want to be? I want to be at that campground. I want to be in that parking lot because I'm producing the music. I'm the DJ. I'm Wolfman Jack, but I want to be partying with you guys. You know what I mean? That's the ultimate rave. But I'm controlling the music. That's Mojo power.
So
that's you don't have that anymore. Well, you do. You have the internet now, but it's like there's so many diverse places you can go. You're on Twitch. I go on my Twitch. There's so many DJs on Twitch. There's so many people doing stuff on Twitch. You're literally like it's like you. My son, he's like flipping through YouTube. So we do it. We're on TikTok, and that's the problem. Let's go to that. Let's go. Is radio dead? Let's go to that. If radio is dead because of TikTok, because of all these different things that you have so much more, your attention span is now this. You don't have one source anymore. You have many sources.
Yeah, right.
So why are there artists making albums? Why make 18 songs Beyonce? Why would you do that? There's no more story anymore. Because the album, I was saying when I made cassette tapes and tapes for people, it was a storyline. He loved this, what I said earlier. It's a storyline. It had a beginning, a middle, intro, middle, mixes, new music, and an extra. I used to do the extra. So you had a full story. Now you don't have that anymore because people are just in there. And Jermaine Dupri, oh my God, he posted this last week and I lost my mind. I was driving my car and Jermaine Dupri, JD, So Def, and Timberland was on there too. And then who was Mad Skills? Mad Skills. When I was, Jazzy Jeff was at Barking Frog when Barking Frog was there and he was DJing and I'm standing right beside Jazzy Jeff and I got the shirt. I should have brought it. And Mad Skills, who did all those mashups, Mad Skills is standing right beside me and goes, Star, you know who I am. I go, Mad Skills, come on. I'm trying to pay attention to Jazzy. I go, by the way, I know who you are. And Mad Skills was on his feed too. And Jermaine Dupri last week said, is radio dead? And the freaking internet blew up. Because a lot of radio DJs came on there and said, yeah, TikTok has taken over and YouTube and the kids are not listening to a 4-minute song anymore. They're listening to 25 seconds. What's the point of the end of the song? What's the point of the middle of the song? What's the point of the hype of the song? The crescendo, it's not there anymore because their attention span is gone.
And then what does that mean for
And what does that mean for albums? What does that mean for artists?
What does it mean?
All ties back in together,
Dude,
right?
what does it mean for dancing in clubs?
And what does it mean for dancing in clubs? Because if you're a DJ and a dancer in a club, I'm sorry, when I do weddings, it's attention span. And this is, I'm going to let out one of my secrets. Yeah, Alpha, you can have this. He's my boy. I just talked to him last week. When you play a set, if you're going to play Elvis, don't play one Elvis song, play 3. If you're going to play a slow song, don't play one slow song, play 3. Why? Because if somebody wants to dance to a slow song, they feel sabotaged, Beastie Boys, if they go out there and they're dancing to one style of music and you change it. Who does that? Boots in a dryer. Who does that? Why would you do that? You're not a real You're not a real entertainer. Entertain the people. So if you're going to put it out there, let the people enjoy what it is. If you're going to play Metallica. Well, let the whole song play, damn it. You know what I mean? Let the whole song play from the beginning to end. You know what I mean? It's just, let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy the music. You can mix, you can cut it up, you can do whatever you want. You scratch is great. Do that, it's fine. But there's a time and a place where you should just, Shannon, let the music play. I'm gonna drop a lot of you know what I mean? Every time we say something, I'm gonna do it.
So Jermaine Dupri, is radio dead? Your opinion?
I watched a whole hour.
Your opinion though.
A lot of people came on there and said the TikTok people can say what they want. The Twitch people, the Kick people, the YouTube people, everybody can say they want. We're not taken away from the internet at all. We love the internet. We're not that old. You know what I mean? We use the technology. We love the technology. But at no point are we, if it ain't broke, at no point are we giving up on the one thing that does work.
Mm.
And if you have a radio voice and you have and I mean voice by you can say something like we're doing right now. If you have a voice and you can project music and you can break new music, then the artist will always love you. You can always play an album. You can always break a new album. You can always, Prince and Metallica did it for a reason. They did a free thing because Prince put Slave on his, you remember that? He put Slave because the record label. That's why he did that. That's why Metallica said, you know what? How can they not harness us? Well, let's give it away for free. That's what we've been doing for 44 years. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Mixtapes.
That too. Mixtapes make a killing in people's trunks.
Mm-hmm.
And cops are busting. Oh, you're selling your mixtape. I'm like, yeah, I'm making more money on a mixtape than I am an album. On a corporate owned, whatever owns company, telling me what to do. Nobody told anybody what to do with mixtapes. Nobody told me what to do when I made mixtapes. Nobody. You just made the tape. That's it. You had the choice. It was your choice of what to put on a tape. When I was at Old Chicago, it was gone. It doesn't matter. I used to make mixed CDs. I used to sell them. I used to make more money when I got paid that night. And people would come up to me and I'm giving them CDs. And you're just it only held back then, it only held 18, 19 songs.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Remember?
I remember.
Not even DVDs, just a CD. But when I made the CDs, I made them pretty. I made the label pretty. But what I did was my clothing line, shout that out, RDB Indifferent, Pro Positive, Pro Human Program.
We got the...
It's there, the logo's there. Yeah.
We got the
1996, logos. I started that, 1996.
Hang on, wait, we got it.
It's RDB Indifferent. That's Masters Wheels of Steel logo there, yeah. You'll see it, RDB Indifferent. It's in burgundy.
I put it under the celeb file folder as it. It's there.
It's right there.
Yeah,
the second thing. Right there.
It is.
If it's too loud, that's my new logo.
So what is? Hang on. So what is this? What's the top one? If it's too loud, you're too old. Is that that's you?
That's not me. That's just like, people tune into the show and are like, wait, why are you playing dubstep? Why are you playing grime? Why are you playing house music? Why are you playing gospel? Why are you playing techno? Why are you playing soca? Why are you playing reggae? Why are you playing hip hop? Why are you playing R&B? These are 14 flavors I play on my
And
show, by the
those
way.
that's the one you were just saying, The Art of Being
The
Different?
Already Being Different was my clothing line I started in 1996, back in the embassy days, and I started that, and shout out to Andrea from Soul Choice because she helped me a lot. See, I remember my peoples
Mm.
and Bobby Soul Choice. Andrea helped me a
Soul
lot.
Choice,
Remember,
dude. I
see,
bought so much clothes at Soul
yeah,
Choice.
yeah. So I was here first, and then when I met Andrea and Soul Choice, she taught me a lot about clothing and stitch. And she said to me, "Don't ever put a good logo on a bad shirt. Don't ever do that, because the logo and what the logo says. That's been 1996. That's years. But don't ever put in a bad shirt. Don't let the shirt deteriorate when the logo itself says so much more." So I started that, and it's like, and I still say it, and I still mine, and nobody's stolen it except for Shampoo Planet. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Yeah, it's all good. So I researched that, but there's a clothing store in Toronto called Two Black Guys, and it's in the Maestro Fest West videos, and back to those guys. And Two Black Guys was a big label, but what I didn't like, they're a big label, they're big, everybody's wearing it. It was very only two black. It was just very black, and I thought, this is Canada. We're in Canada.
That's diverse culture, man.
It's a very diverse culture. That's why I created the Art of Being Different, pro positive, pro human program.
Amen, brother. I love that. That's
And it
wicked.
was all about, you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting yourself, hurting anybody else, breaking a criminal code book, or breaking the big book, Ten Commandments. It was a very deep thing to try to go there, because who can do that? But as long as you're not doing that, you're allowed to be different. You're allowed to have blue hair. You're allowed to have pink hair. You're not, and that was back then in 1996. Now look at where the world is now, with what is going on now, and mixed bathrooms and this and that, and the woke and this. I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not putting anybody down. But the Art of Being Different back in 1996 was groundbreaking compared to what's going on now in 2024.
Mhm.
Am I wrong?
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. And I mean, even back in those days, like 1996, I was DJing, like we talked about Deviate and that. That was like 99, 2000, 2001. And like, I say to people openly, like, some of my biggest, like, because I was playing a lot of trance, I was playing a lot of those EDM, we call EDM now, but like back in the day was house and
And this is
trance.
this is funny, boys and girls, because Ryan played EDM and I created UDM, which is underground dance music,
There you go.
because EDM and the trance was a lot of fist bumping. And us from Chicago, New York, we were all ass shaking. And we were like so anti EDM. We understand the EDM and the trance is so huge. Like Dead Mouse and all these are
But
huge.
I was playing in like I said, 98,
I just want
98.
to know part of it.
98,
It's like,
99, 2000, 2001, and, I mean, I had a following of all kinds of people, man. I had
mm,
followings of women, of gay women,
yeah.
I had, if I had a pile of, um, transgender men that would come to all the clubs that I would play at. But, like, I've always been about, everybody, you do you, I do me, everybody can
I was
coexist
in a
on this
club
planet.
with my DJ partners. It was the club, I remember it was called Menjo's in Detroit, and there's two different clubs I played at. I'm not trying to be me, but I'm just telling the stories, right? The one club I played at was a guy named Marquise, and he's a DJ in Detroit. He's a big DJ in Detroit. He invited me to go play because you're Starchild, come play. And when I played, but what he didn't realize is every DJ, there's like a whole bunch of DJs on the lineup. There's like five other DJs. And it was a very gay open. I didn't care who was there. My mind was bigger than that. I just created the Art of Being Different. I didn't care about that. So there was gays and transgender. This was back then. I just wanted to play music. I didn't care. I'm playing the music, and all the other DJs, when I started playing, they instantly like, what the? They're like, what the heck's going on? Because my records I got from UK, I got from Detroit. I didn't buy my records from just Detroit. And they said to me, "Yo, bro, man, where'd you get your records from?" I go, "Not just Detroit. I'm not just living in that bubble." And Marquis never invited me back. He was a big DJ. He's probably still a big DJ. He never invited me back because he felt ways, and I'm trying to do whatever. Right?
Right.
That's not that was not my mission. You know what I mean, that was not my mission. I remember played another place, and Akaviva showed up. Akaviva was all happy to see me. I go, "You never say hi to me in London. It's all good." It's all you need. But
Yeah.
you play the music. You know what I mean? I didn't hold back in the styles you play. You got to live outside the box.
You do. You do, and that's why I really like the brand, man. I love I'm a lover, not a fighter, man. I'm one of those kind of people that, it doesn't matter what genre of music, doesn't matter what your journey is, where you come from. We're all human, man. And at the
I,
end
I
of the
remember
day,
I remember playing in CHW, and I was dropping rave stuff. I mean, Prodigy, Asin, Windows in the Sky. Like just Capital J was like, dude, you're breaking. Like, who's playing this? Nobody's playing this. I was killing it. And this is back where some people think rap music started or hip hop started. Some people, we're not mentioning any names, remember? Some people think, back in the knack and drink days, that's when I started, but it started way before that. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to tell you. But these guys I thought were my nemesis, and these guys, Sultan, Daz, these guys, they were doing energy radio. And energy radio to me back then, when we were doing CHW, we had no censorship, no anything. I'm playing Eminem, I'm playing Beastie Boys, I'm playing Nasty Stuff, I'm playing Two Life Crew, I'm playing stuff, I'm playing Ice-T, that no other station is playing. Uncut. Parental advisory sticker, which we now use as a badge, they say, right? Public Enemy, whatever. And these guys are going to do a Zoltan and Daz, and they call me on the phone. The phone lights up, and I'm killing the rave music. I'm killing it because I have no F's to care. And Zoltan and Daz are like Star. I'm like, and I thought they hated me. And I'm big ups to you guys. Big ups to you guys. I thought they hated me because they did their top 40 thing and their censored energy radio thing, but I didn't care. I'm playing my underground. I'm going for it. And they call me and they go, Star. And I go, what? What do you guys want? And they go, you're killing it. You're just killing it. I go, it's a new day. It's a new day when my nemesis called me to give me praise. It's a new day. And I love those guys for that. It's just a totally different world when you're like, you think somebody hates you because they all told me you can't do this. I remember being at raves at Shakers back in the day, and everybody was in the rave things, and we went to raves in Lucan and whatnot. And people said, you have to pick one kind of music. You have to choose one kind of music. You're either a drum and bass DJ, you're a house DJ, you're a hip hop DJ. You have to pick one. And I was like, but if I pick one, what happens to the other ones? And we start out with a funk show with one, and then we went to 2, and went to 3. Now I'm at 14. Record labels will send me all sorts of. There's good gospel music that nobody's playing gospel.
Whatever happened to taking people on a journey, man?
What do you think I'd be doing? What do you think? Why do you think I'm listening to Jazzy Jeff for? You know what I mean?
How can you take people on a journey? You got one style
How do
of
you do
music.
the story if you don't take people on a journey, right?
That's it.
So I said no. I'm not going to play just one. You can't play all those different kinds of music. I'm DJ Starchild. Friday nights, let's plug that. Friday night flights, all house music, but not all house music. It's 4/4, boom, 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 boom. 4/4 is like the 4 beats, boom, 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 boom. So anything that mixes with the 4 beats, it's mostly house music. But I throw soca in there. I play techno in there. I play anything that can mix. And here's the thing: what do you mean we don't have a turntable in here? The range of your imagination is your turntable, is the +8 and a -8. Anybody who's stuck in that little centerpiece world and won't play a record or a mix and remix it on the fly your range, and my old turntables are -10 and +10. My Denon is my old DP 790s. So your range is your range of what your pitch can go at. You don't go by your sync. You don't go by your BPMs. What's a BP? I'm sorry to this. Your range is your imagination. That's why it says on my business cards, Nation of Imagine. Think about that. Your range is your range of creativity. Absolutely. Make the music, remix the music on the fly, on a live show. As long as it mixes, you mix it tight and you don't flub it and you're not boots to the dryer, boom, 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 off beat. You do it tight. It sounds good. And people will dance. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, that is what it's about.
You know what I mean?
And
your range is +8, -8.
And you
mentioned, what do you mean this is going -6 and this is going +7? Like, never mind what's what. Listen to the mix. Listen to the mix.
I remember.
You know what I mean? Listen to the mix.
I remember watching Jazzy Jeff do some crazy.
Jazzy's my hero, dude.
Do some crazy mixes, man. And like at the time, like I couldn't even touch anything like that. And I was like, wow, like this is crazy. This is legendary. Like it was
because you're living outside the box. But you got to remember, back we listened to Mojo doing B-52s. We listened to the Wizard. This is our upbringing, you know what I mean? And then we see all the techno guys and Underground Groove, and then you go to the West Indies and got DJ Puffy in Barbados right now, like just killing it. DJ Puffy, I was like, I'd be DJing 4 times longer than him, but I'm nowhere near his rank. DJ Puffy got to go and hang with Jazzy Jeff at his house. I'm like, come on. Jazzy Jeff did something really cool for me. I'll bring this up. When I met Jazzy the 3rd time, I'm like, Jazzy, your album's coming out. And he was doing it with Masters at Work. Masters at Work, the legendary Masters at Work. And Jazzy told me to call the label and ask this girl named Irise. I remember her name was Irise. It's a very rare name. And I call Irise. Jazzy give me the number. I call the number and goes, ask this girl and she'll send you the record. I'm like, okay, yeah, right. That's going to work. So I call and she's like, how'd you get this number? She's like, she's American. She's like, how'd you get this number? And before I could even answer, she goes, wait a minute, never mind. There's no way you had this number unless Jeff Towns gave you this number. And she sends me the record and I have the record. Next time I saw Jazzy again, he autographs the record. All my Jazzy Jeff records are all autographed.
Wow.
That's
Amazing.
what's in the pictures. Go.
Yeah, let's do the pictures. Let's do the pictures, essay. Okay, so we got. I think did I label the Jazzy Jeff photo? Yeah, I did. It's there. The second one down, right down from Shaggy. Yeah, there.
Yeah, I like how you put them all together. That's nice. Yeah, that first one. That's at Deviate. The first one's at Deviate.
Really?
Yeah, the first one's at Deviate, and the second one's at that club on Richmond, right behind Jack's. And that was 20 years later. And he was
Wow.
doing vinyl. What's the name of that show? He was doing that the TV show, and again, see, we were in a car, and I was working at next door, and I ran down there just like I did with Ice Cube. I ran down there, and the guys in the limousine, they were sitting in the front, and they gave me drops too, and they're like, how do you know? They look back, and Jeff's in the back, and Jeff's like Starchild, and they're like, how does they go, Jeff, this guy sounds like he's known you forever. I go, I have. I have. I have a ticket at home of me and Jamie Jam at Dr. Rockets in
Wow.
1989. And I haven't seen Jamie in years. And that same year is when Fresh Prince and Jazzy came to Centennial Hall before the TV show. Before the TV show.
Really?
That's how long we've been doing this.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So see, that's autographed. Yeah, they're all. Yeah, I got so many autographs. Oh, you want to talk about Jay? You want to talk about Jam Master Jay? That's Jam Master Jay, freaking Run DMC.
I know.
That's at the Knack, and that was. Let me tell you a story about that. Public
I
Enemy. I'm at the docks.
was that which show was that with Randy?
Biz Markie was there. Rest in peace, Biz Markie. That was 1987.
Okay.
That was the first time they came. The second time they came here was at Honest Lawyer. I met Jay twice. So the first year was at the Knack.
Well, they came to the Knack though in the 90s because I did the show.
Yes, that was latter.
I want to say it was like 95 or maybe even 94.
They were at the Knack. Well, maybe you're right because the Knack was first and then Honest Lawyer was second. Because I met him twice.
Yeah.
Because he went to the ramp after the Knack. He was walking around in the Knack. He was walking around. Jam Master Jay was walking around in the Knack, or not the Knack, the ramp. After he left the Knack, they left because I remember because Run and DMC were reverend and or ordained minister, so they didn't go to clubs. But Jay was like, I'm going to the club. So he's walking around the ramp, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, Jam Master Jay's walking around. I remember it was Daz. And I go, was it Daz? It wasn't Daz. It wasn't Daz. It was
Danny?
Danny. It was Danny. It was Danny. And Danny was in the booth. And I go, Danny, Jam Master Jay's here. And Danny goes, Star, stop lying, guy. We can lie. What are you making up stuff? And I go, dude. And Jay stuck his head in the booth. And Danny was just like, and to this day, me and Danny talk, he's like, I'm never not gonna believe you ever again. It's like, it was just epic.
I know
But he was the nicest guy ever. And then the next year they came to Honest Lawyer or whatever. And I remember he was walking around, and this, I don't want to mention the name, the same guy we were talking about before, Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. Well, Jay was walking around again in Honest Lawyer. He got lost, and I see him again the next year, whatever. I go, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He goes, "I don't know who those guys are." I go and I find them, and Run and DMC are sitting in a broom closet, touching knees.
What?
And
Really?
I'm like, what the? I really want to cuss my kid. I'm like, and I went to the owner who we were talking about. And I go, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why is Run DMC in a broom closet? He goes, well, we don't want anybody to bug them. I go, but they're in a broom closet where the girls hang their coats and their purses. I'm like, what are you doing? This is Run DMC. Are you nuts?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then the following year, Public Enemy came, which is that picture right there. Right? Actually, that's funny that you put that together. That's the Atomic Room, right above where I'm talking about, right there. And the next year, they had the Atomic Room be the VIP because of what happened the year before Run DMC. Same place, just upstairs, whatever. And they had the whole big room. Crazy.
I love doing those shows, man. Those Run DMCs.
But Ryan,
I did lights for that show at the Knack, and it was incredible.
Do you get? And I asked B-Large this, and I asked my friends, I asked Flexus this, and I asked people who do lights and sound. And here's an honest question. I've been talking a lot, but I have a question now. Sure. Am I wrong? Is it wrong when I have these celebrity pictures and I have drops like you don't even know, Biff naked and Sean Paul, and you don't even know the drops I have? It's crazy. Tony Basil's my friend, for God's sake. It's crazy. Do you think it's wrong as us as vehicles of DJing? Because there's artists now, Jamaican artists, that want to charge $300 for a drop, whatever it may be, and I refuse. I won't do it. When Sean Paul gives me a drop for nothing, Capable gives me a 2.5 minute drop for nothing, I'm not going to pay you $300 for your voice drop. And here's the reason why. We're the vehicles as DJs to make you guys famous. We're volunteers. We got paid nothing to do this for 44 years. We're the vehicles. We're the radio DJs. We're the in between. All I'm asking is a drop, an autograph, and a picture. That's it. I don't want money. I don't want, you know what I mean? That's all we're asking. Do you think it's wrong to ask the celebrities for, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
look
I
at that
mean,
picture. Look at that picture of me and Shaggy. I don't even remember that night. We were partying at Music Hall. But you want to see something funny? Hey, you want to see something funny? Shaggy's, hold on, where is it? He's still here. It's been here for years. It's been here for years.
you carrying something around?
I'm packing. Where is it? Where are you? Hold on. I don't want to show my ID. Where is it? It's here. I know it's here. I just saw it yesterday. Oh, where are you? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
What do we got here?
Shaggy gave me his card like 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I got the picture, but I got the card. Dude, look at that.
This is Shaggy's business card.
This is Shaggy's
100%.
business card. And he tours with Sting.
That's sick.
Isn't that crazy? And he added me on Facebook. Go check my Facebook. He's on my Facebook. Have I called him
You
and
know,
said, yo, Shaggy, you want to go for coffee?
I'll answer.
No,
I'll answer your question.
But here's my question.
I mean,
should I feel bad? Should I feel away for just asking for a drop or just trying to?
No,
I'm not coattails. I'm not starstruck. But when I see promoters who are desensitized, here, feel me up. When you're throwing concerts and this music hall, it's Harris Park, it's Bud Gardens, whatever. It's you. You're Ryan. You know what I mean? Do you feel desensitized to these artists? I'm not a groupie. I'm not a roadie. But at the same time, like, dude, you're who you are. I have all your albums. Can I just get a drop so I can play it on my radio show? Should I feel wrong for doing that? Should I feel like a groupie for doing that? Is that wrong? And I think you should never be desensitized to somebody who's done something great. I feel it. I stopped saying I because Drake says I a lot. I feel it because we're all human beings. We're all on an equal plane. When I got that drop, I'm gonna pull it up. When I got the drop from Lennox Lewis, see it, right? No, that's Ben Johnson. That's Jazzy. There you go, Lennox Lewis. See it in the top right?
Yeah,
that's Lennox Lewis, right? I had just got a drop from De La Soul at the NAC. De La Soul, rest in peace. One guy from De La Soul just passed away last year. I got kicked out of the back room of the NAC. I was working there. I was DJing there, right? When I got the cassette, and I gave it to Lennox Lewis. And before that, we were hanging out with Public Enemy. Flavor Flav says to me, and I can't, gonna have to edit this. You're gonna have to edit this. Flavor Flav said to me and Modi, says, don't ever feel that you're lesser than any other human because we all pee, shit, and eat. We're all equal. We're all even. Don't ever feel like you're lesser than any other human. Flavor Flav told me that the first time I met him. Wow. Public Enemy. And ever since then, every time I've met a celebrity, I'm like, yeah, I just want to drop my show, whatever. But at no point am I going to kiss her ass. This is why I'm not going to pay you $250 for a drop. Like, that's not going to happen. You're a human being.
So my
you know what I mean?
My answer,
us as as vehicles, like
my answer is the same no matter what you say. Because
this girl, okay, one more.
Okay, one more.
This girl, Rhea, her name's Rhea, and I found her Instagram. Her record label reached out to me when I was at Radio Western.
Yeah,
she's an up and coming artist, Rhea, Rhea. Okay, cool. She gave me a drop back when I was at Radio Western. I played the drop, my show. I'm at Music Hall one day, maybe 2 weeks later, and this guy, he calls himself Mr. International, Cardinal, but this collab he did was with this girl, Rhea. But the label gave me this song before anybody else had it. Cardi's coming out of the back room of Music Hall. He's got his entourage. He knows me because we met at the Wave before. I go, Cardi, it's Starchild, what's up? I go, you the man. And Cardi looks at me and goes, no. He goes, Starchild, you the man. I go, why would you say that? He goes, you have that song of me and Rhea that nobody else has. How the hell did you get that? I go, the label gave it to me. I'm like, wow. That blew my mind that Cardi did that, right? Wait. 25, 30 years later, what happened to Rhea? She gave me that drop. Her promoters gave me the drop. I got this drop. I found it somewhere. Can't find Rhea. What the hell happened to Rhea? You know where Rhea is now? You know who Rhea's working with now? Skateboard P. Pharrell.
Wow.
That's where Rhea is now. She just had a child. She's on my Instagram. I'm reaching out to her. I'm like, Rhea, can I get another drop 30 years later? She doesn't know who I am. But when she was groundbreaking and she was nobody, she gave me that drop, no problem. But now she's, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like when you were nobody and we're trying to help you out and build you up and whatever. Now you remember who we are. Well, now you're big. You're a nobody. When we're just how much do we get paid for being volunteer DJs? Nothing.
I think so. My answer is the same. I think I I want to give the credit for this because, I just finished playing in a golf tournament on the weekend that I won. Our foursome won the tournament. I've been playing the tournament now for this is 11 years.
Mm,
I've been sponsoring the golf tournament for 21 years.
mm.
And we raised, close to 1.8 million for prostate cancer, all of which has gone to buy stuff for the hospital
Prostate cancer?
that saved my uncle's life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I had prostate cancer and I survived.
I
Didn't
didn't know
tell
this.
anybody.
I
Didn't put it on Facebook. Didn't tell
No.
anybody.
So
See?
there
See?
2 degrees of separation, music industry, brother.
See? See?
So I had a guy. I'll tell this story quick because it has to go on the record. So I was young and I was running the shop here, and I had a guy who came in and he rented a strobe light from me. He says, "I need a strobe light," and he came in had a suit on, and I said, "Okay," and he gives me his business card. And then a few years later, I was calling all the business cards from corporate people because I was looking to do corporate shows. And he goes, "Yeah, come see me. Come see me. Come to my office. It's on Warncliffe. Come see me." So I said, "Okay." So I went and seen him. And I'm sitting in his office and he's on the phone when I walked in and he's sit down, sit down. And he finishes his phone call and then he yeah, how's it going? Good to see you. And he proceeds to kind of I said, like, "Well, what's your deal?" And he proceeds to tell me about him and his life and his journey and stuff. And anyway, I end up finding out he was heavily involved in hockey. He's very good close friends with Don Cherry and all the guys from Hockey Night in Canada. And at the end of the day, went on to find out that so he was in charge of marketing at a car dealership at the time, but that was because he had suffered some heart issues during retirement in Florida, and
Mm.
he came back for his heart issues. His daughter works at the hospital, but he uh he was the former president of Molson Breweries.
What?
And I was like, okay. And, you know, he ended up I learned a lot of stuff from him. He at the end of our talk, he told me all kinds of really inspiring things. And then at the end of our talk that day, he's like, "So yeah, I need a sound system for this golf tournament we're doing. And can you just bring out a small sound system? And you got a girlfriend or something? Yeah, yeah, bring your girlfriend. Come on out." And it was the coolest thing because we went to this, shout out to Peter and Brian Channer and all the rest of the family. It was at Channer's here in London, and I brought the sound system and I set it up with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. And um uh and he had invited all these hockey players and Wendell Clark and all these people were there. It was really cool. And that I had no idea at that point what I was getting into. And he's passed away now, his wife
Mm.
too, both of them. His name was Ray Bradley. And shout out to Scotty, his son, and the whole family. But one of the things that Ray and me and the general manager from Lexus of London, Chris, we just talked about this literally a few days ago. One of the things that Ray Bradley would tell me, one of the stories he told me was he said, "I would never go through the front door of the brewery.
Mm.
I would always go through the back door of the brewery, and I would shake the hands of all of the people who worked there, the janitors, everybody.
Barack Obama.
And and at the end of the day, I would have a connection, a genuine connection." He didn't just do it for some, Ray wanted to touch everybody. He wanted to know everybody. He wanted to impact positively everybody.
Yep.
And um he impacted me so much to the point where, now I've been sponsoring this thing for 21 years. We've raised almost $2 million for prostate cancer. It saved my uncle's life. It saved the lives of countless people here in town and across the world. And um Ray's gone now, unfortunately. They did a tribute for him at Joe Cool's, ironically. And I'm still good friends with Scotty, his son, but I never forgot some of the lessons that he taught me. And the answer to your question is everybody needs to be like Ray Bradley. Everybody needs to respect everyone
Yep.
on the journey. Because if you don't, then all the work you've done to get to the point where you're at was for nothing. That's my opinion.
Yep.
And I think that it's very important for artists out there. And, not everybody's going to be like this. There's lots of people out there that are like, I worked hard, and they did work hard. Man, I've seen the artists who've worked hard. And when they go up and give those acceptance speeches, those are genuine. you know, they have worked hard and they have given up a lot, and their families have given up a lot.
Oh,
I
you're
get
hitting on
it.
a nail head. You're hitting
I
on a nail
get
head
it,
right now.
but I get it. But
Yep.
but on that journey are the Starchilds and all these types of people that have been part of the journey. So my opinion is that, and it's my opinion based on my journey, based on the people who've influenced me, like Ray Bradley. I think that it is highly, and this is why I'm easy to get a hold of by anybody, is that I think that it is super important for you to be available to all the people on your journey, because you never know where that person is going to come back into your life,
Mhm.
right? So I think that it's not about status, it's not about being famous, it's not about any of that. It's about, do you value the people along your journey or not? And if
There's
you do, then you need to at least give them the respect of listening. And if they listen to you and go, "Oh yeah, Star Child, yeah, okay,
there's a
cool."
movie called Higher Learning. I had the poster for the longest time. Ice Cube's in this movie. John Singleton did this movie. And in this movie, I had the poster, and Higher Learning, what's his name? John Rassenberg. What the hell's his name? He's the guy, the white guy, cusses all the time. And in this movie, they're in a college, and this movie is one guy, he loses it. He's just one of those American guys, has an AK-47. He loses it. He starts shooting everybody the whole bit. But in the beginning of the movie, the black guy says hi to this white girl in an elevator, and she snubs him. She snubs him. She, like, he's trying to get with her. He's like, no, I was just saying hi. That's all. I'm just trying to say hi. Snubs him. Fast forward to the end of the movie. It's a very old movie. It's 80s movies now.
Yeah.
It's called Higher Learning. Very good movie. In the end of the movie, when the clock tower is going off and the guns are going off, he saves her. He pulls her aside and he saves her. And she says, "Have I met you?" And he goes, "Yes, we've met. You just don't remember."
Mm.
Roller coaster ride of, he saved her life. You know what I mean? It's like roller coaster ride of, he wasn't good enough for her in the beginning of the movie, but he saves her life in the end of the movie. Higher Learning. And it's a very deep movie. It's very good. It's all about cultures and races and all sorts of stuff. I love a good movie that is so potent that it mattered then. It still matters now. Breakfast Club,
We're
and
all
Say
human. We're all
Anything,
human, man.
Purple Rain. We're all human.
We're all
It's like,
human, and we're all here vibrating.
I've been through all this.
And
That's what I'm saying. I've been through all this, like all this stuff in all these years for all these years. And it just, some things I'm so gracious of. I can't believe you called me to do this. I'm just still, still blown away.
thank you for doing it, man.
I want to see the end. I'm hoping we get. Let's make sure we get everything. Okay. Okay, we got almost.
Well, let's finish the photos. Let's finish.
Okay.
So okay, who's all in these photos?
Julie Black's on the left.
Julie.
That's Julie Black. She did Amazing Race. She didn't last more than, but she's still my Facebook friend. She's cool. She doesn't say, "Hey, I do."
I had Julie at the CDJ show.
She's cool. She's cool beans. I'll give her that.
She's great.
I hope she sees. I'm gonna send her this podcast. It's like, what, Julie? I'm bigging you up. Still love you.
No, she was great.
Lewis to the right. Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 to the bottom left. That's Paris Hilton and Mini Me. Look at the bottom right. That's Mini Me from Austin Powers. And he passed away. He was drinking crazy that night.
Wow.
He was this when he at that
Where
party,
was that?
That was at a government in Toronto. I got invited to that. And when we came, that was the same picture of Ben Johnson. It was the same night. But when I came, and she was 2 hours late, by the way. The girls who promoted me to come, they wanted to choke her out, Paris Hilton. But Mini Me showed up first. And when he showed, he wasn't a normal, he was a normal little person. He was a little person. Like little people are like this tall. He was really small, like half the size.
Wow.
So when he showed up, this circle broke out. And I was standing there. I had my VIP pass, and I'm like, who's here? Michael Jackson? What's going on? And the circle was around him.
Oh wow!
Everybody surrounded Vern and Mini.
That's so cool.
Yeah, before Paris Hilton even showed up, so that was kind of crazy.
What else we got there, Essay? What's next?
That's the Masters of the Wheel of Steel. That's Mr. Groove. Wait, go back. That's up there. Yeah, that's good. That's Mr. Groove. That's Modi, the Scratch Master. That's me. That's Louis Brown, Mixmaster Jalou, who played at Roller Palace when he couldn't do the job.
Roller Palace.
Roller Palace was the other roller skating place, which is now rubble, by the way. I drove by there.
Really?
My grandmother's house is right by there, and I came out, and we're Roller Palace in the building. It's rubble. I took a picture. It's rubble. It used to be a roller skating rink. It was the second biggest roller skating rink besides Wheels. Gone. That's it. That's London. That's London history. You know what I have, Ryan?
My dad used to skate at Wheels.
You see that picture I have of us in front of the London Free Press? You know what I did? Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready. This is how hardcore I am at my age. I saw they were tearing down the building. That picture, that iconic picture of us in front of the London Free Press, saddened me. I'm like, this is gonna be like the embassy. It's gonna be like Mingles. It's gonna be like the ramp is gonna be gone. You know what I did? I waited. I went down there. I took the last brick. It's in my house. I
No.
took the last brick of the London Free Presses in my house. You
Wow.
know where I got the idea from? When I was a kid at Springbank Park, which is a party going on next weekend, by the way. There's a thing of London Bridge, and the bricks in London Bridge that were at Springbank Park were from London Bridge in the UK. And I
Really?
remember that when I was a little kid. And then now, 40 years later, they're tearing down the London Free Press building. It's gonna be gone. It's a big space now. Let me just go get that last brick. And I got it. And it's in my house.
Wow. That's legend.
Nostalgia, dude, man. You know
That's
what I mean?
legendary.
Nostalgia. You know what I mean? That's London for you. So yeah.
What else we got here, Essay?
Maestro, me and the Master.
Maestro.
That's gone now too. The picture on the left, that was me and the Knights of Sound Table. That was doing a 3-man helicopter, and that was LPH, London Psychiatric Hospital.
Really?
Yeah, that's not there anymore.
That's gone too.
See,
and you can't even get the bricks from that.
You can't even get the bricks from that, right?
No, they recycled the bricks from that.
Of my youth, the buildings are gone, the embassy's gone. These buildings, these pictures are here to prove that. You mean how many people can do that? You know what I mean? That's crazy. Oh, that's the HW in the bottom. That's this. I told SA this earlier. The top left, that's will.i.am looking at my records of Black Eyed Peas that he autographed. And fast forward about 7 years later, they made a video called Yesterday. And the video of Yesterday is Black Eyed Peas, the original Black Eyed Peas before Fergie, which is in there, you're gonna see after, of them going to a record store, which we just talked about, in the video of them looking through records. And that's him doing it for real at the Phoenix at Monopoly. That's will.i.am. Isn't that crazy?
And then Nas, right?
That's Nas, and that's MC Lyte.
And Nas, ironically, is coming to London a couple of weeks.
Well, I'm not missing that. I miss Snoop. I'm not missing Nas.
Yeah, Nas.
I'm not missing Nas.
Park.
You got to give me some. I know you got hookups, bro.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being me and having street cred and being 49% of the city and can't get in the Rocket Park. I'm like, it's killing me, man.
And then MC Lyte.
That's MC Lyte. She was very, very cool. That party, I got hooked up by a promoter. The promoter that hooked me up with that, I never met him. He hooked me up with the Public Enemy at the docks in Toronto too. I never met him, but he kept on hooking me up with different. He goes, "You're Starchild." I kept on hooking me up. So when I met MC Lyte, that was the backstage at the Fox Theater in Detroit. We're in Detroit, and I was backstage with a legendary Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane was right beside me, but the promoter said you can only talk to MC Lyte. You can't talk to anybody else. So can you imagine? I get to meet MC Lyte, get to drop him MC Lyte, get the picture of MC Lyte, but Big Daddy Kane's right beside me, but I'm not allowed to talk to him.
Wow,
that was torture, dude. That was Jackson 5 torture.
No doubt.
That was torture. Right behind a Dinah Ross picture. Keep going if you want. Keep going.
Yeah, what do we got?
Oh, to the right, that was that Club Large.
Yeah,
Russell Peters, and he gave me a drop. It was pretty wicked. To the left, come on, Fergie. I had my hands all over her. It was like awesome. That was Monopoly, and that was the first year. Not the second year when she gave me the drop, which she said, no, don't funk with Starchild, which I met her in a parking lot of now Budweiser Gardens, which was John Labatt Center, and was me and George, who was playing. George was the guitar player of the Black Eyed Peas, and it was me, Gary McCauley, standing talking to George, who he does stuff for Sting and all sorts of stuff. And it was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and the sun's coming up, and Stacey Ferguson decides to go to the tour bus. She comes out. I show her that picture. She goes, "What do you want?" I go, "I want the drop. I got the picture, but I want the drop." She goes, and she starts to say it. I go, "Stop." In my hand, I go, "Stop." I go, "Don't say it, sing it." I go, "Say it, sing it." And then she's saying it. No, don't fuck with Starchild. I played on my radio show. Can't find a drop. I somewhere. I gotta find it. But I played it. And people called me every. It's all crazy. Russell Peters gave me a nice Bayesian drop. It's like, and now Russell's come back. He's touring. He's doing whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to.
And
see
Russell tours was started from scratch.
Mark
is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Mark's my friend.
My friend too, yeah.
Because Mark is like me in London. Mark used to do some really wicked mixes.
Amazing.
In Toronto.
Still crushing, man. Still crushing.
He did mixes in Toronto. I'd be doing here in London on Radio Western. I appreciated that because I'm like, dude, I could do that mix. And he'd be like,
dude, I was obsessed during the pandemic with his Twitch stuff, man. Yeah. I was watching nonstop. It was so good.
You got to think how big Toronto is. Good. So London is obviously smaller than Toronto, but I want to be. And people constantly say to me, and I'm not trying to brag, but people constantly say to me, Starchild, be bigger, go out, go tour, go wherever. And I would say this: I'd rather be the big fish in the small pond. Because I can always be badass here, but if I go out there, and the proof of the pudding of that is many of my friends who did that went out, they all came back. Boomerang, Australian Boomerang, they all came back.
Except Everfresh, he's still there.
What are you talking about? Everfresh's been playing at Fitz Ray's now for the
Yeah,
last 5
I
years.
know. Yeah,
You
that's
know how
true.
I know?
Yeah,
You know how I
yeah,
know? Because I was playing with
yeah. I know.
Everfresh at
You're
Fitz
right.
Ray's.
You're right.
I
You're right.
was, not anymore. He's still there.
What
He's
else
all
we
good.
got there, Essay? We got more? Shaggy.
I don't even remember. That was that music hall. I was wearing my winter coat was not even.
And Cube.
I got a picture with Sean Paul. I got a drop from Sean Paul, but I had to get a picture. I was a little drinking that night, but you get a picture of Shaggy. But now he's my Facebook friend and gave me the card a little bit. And Cube, I explained to Cube. That was sick.
We just did the Cube tour. It was great, man.
That
I
was
loved
sick.
it. It was
That was
great.
just bizarre. Oh, DJ Yella from NWA is my Facebook friend too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I sent him that picture. I was out dashing and whatever. And there's a road in London out in Westmount called Crenshaw Boulevard.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it and I sent it to DJ Yella. He goes, dude. He said one word. He goes, dude.
No word of a lie.
I do stuff like that. I'm like, why wouldn't you? It's Crenshaw Boulevard. Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you send
No
DJ
word of a
Yella?
lie. We were doing this golf tournament I told you about on the weekend, and they're like, Neil's like, you got to pick songs, you got to play some music, and we hook up his Bluetooth speaker to my phone, and I like type into Spotify. I'm like, top hip hop or something, and I ended up finding an NWA playlist,
Yeah.
and that's what we were playing for like the first like 5 holes.
I didn't wear my shirt, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, these guys are like now inducted, like Public Enemy, NWA. They were frowned upon back then, and now they're inducted.
Yeah,
so this gives me hope when I'm like, hey,
legends.
we were playing all that stuff, we were playing everything, and now hold on, actually, I almost forgot 2 things.
Don't forget.
I almost forgot 2 things, my friend.
Don't forget.
Don't forget stuff when you get your chance. You only get one chance. 8 mile. Lose yourself, right? Yeah,
That's it.
Here,
Amen.
Rising Sound FM.
Oh,
shout out to Amy.
shoot.
You see that?
Yeah.
Rising Sound FM.
I follow.
And the station, Modi the Scratchmaster, KNR1, 10 years anniversary. Both Rising Sound and KNR. People say, Starchild, you're on CW, Starchild, you're still on radio? I've been on radio now for 10 years on KNR and Rising Sound, and was on Ruckus for 4 years, which was heard by 3.7 million people. East Indian, second in the world for 10 years now. So am I still doing radio? Silly question.
Silly question.
Wait. One more thing. Oh, it's here somewhere. He's smiling.
This is legendary. Look at this thing.
And if you ever think that you're
okay,
anything, 2023 got some fingerprints on there. Essence and Culture Award, Best Online DJ, Starchild, Rising Sound.
Congratulations, brother. That was
last year, but
that's okay.
It's okay.
It's all good, man.
Shout out to Wickham, who got it this year. Shout out to Wickham, who's on KNR now. Wickham is on KNR now. We inducted him.
Amazing.
So yeah, we were still running radio, man. That's
radio to me, I mean, still to this day, there's a lot of people out there, that are driving around in their cars or listening to radio. Radio's still a thing, man. I mean, I don't.
DJ partner Lewis lives in Burlington. He lives in Burlington. He gets an Uber. He likes to Uber. The cab driver, and he's listening on his phone. He tunes into my show. This is my DJ partner. His show blows my show away. He taught me how to DJ. I think so, but we big each other up. Our biggest battle with the masters isn't other DJs. It's us. We battle each other. So if Modi's wicked, if Mr. Groove's wicked, if Lewis is wicked, if Starchild's wicked, and we're trying to outdo each other, guess who gets to reap the greatness of that? The listeners.
Sure.
Because we're trying to outdo each other. It's not a real battle. It's like remember what was that TV show with the X-Files? Remember the X-Files?
Of course.
So you remember the 3 guys? They were all totally different. The 3 nerd guys. We're like that. We're best friends, but we're not the same. We're apples, oranges, and bananas. You know what I mean? We're different. We're already being different, but we're in the same crew. So you get the best of it. You know what I mean? So it's just so beautiful. We're like, oh man, my show sucked. Your show was better. But then you get people tuning in and like, no, but it shouldn't be. It's not a competition. That's the thing.
No.
Enjoy the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Go watch your Fast and Furious and go watch your Notebook and enjoy both movies.
Essay, we got any more photos there, or are we good?
Oh, that one on the left, that was very controversial. Because that was at Mansion. Remember Mansion?
Yep.
That guy is from That 70s Show.
Oh, yeah.
And his name was DJ Mom Jeans. But now he's I think he's in jail. He's not even on the 70s Show or the 90s Show. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
But at that time, at the Mansion, that night, he popped my collar. I don't pop my collar. He popped my collar. Right? And he was DJing that night. He's DJ Mom Jeans. And he said, Starchild, because I had my tags on. He's like, you want to DJ? And I've said this before. And I said, no, his DJ sucked. Both DJs sucked. He wasn't that great. And I respectfully backed down. I'm a hardcore DJ. So I respectively, instead of jumping on the decks and did what anybody else would do, I can show you up. It wasn't a battle, it was a contest. I said, you do your thing. And I backed down. He goes, but you're London's, no, do your thing. Because what you're playing and what you're doing is nothing compared to what I would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So I respectfully, reclined for Mr. 70's show, but he was, yeah, he was a cool guy to me. And at that night, I said, where's Ashton Kutcher? Because it was Punk. Remember Punk? He goes, there goes the producer right there. The producer of Punk was right there at Mansion that night. He goes,
Oh,
he's right
really?
there. So that's legendary for me.
And then below that,
Oh, you don't know who that is, remember?
yeah, I know. I asked you earlier.
Oh my God.
But the crazy part is once you told me, I realized it, and then I realized I've been obsessed with 3 of his shows forever.
Yeah, because you're a baby. So was I actually. I remember my mom making me watch The Edge of Night, and I used to watch Days of Our Lives for years.
My
But yeah, a lot of people
grandmother used to make me
my
watch
grandmother
it.
used to watch it too. So I
Yeah.
remember my grandmother actually met the Jean Stapleton. She was the old lady of Young and the Restless. So Samara Moore is from Young and the Restless originally, and then he was on Soul Train after Don Cornelius, and then he was on Criminal Minds, and now he was on SWAT, which SWAT is now over. So yeah, but when he came to Up on Carling, which is the place where Old Chicago was, by the way, and B-Large hooked that up for me. I'm pretty sure either him or Chris Hines or the other guy. That I had 3 different promoters, but when he hooked that up, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't have hung out with him. And girls love that picture, by the way. Girls, not you, but girls.
Not me. And then
My girlfriend loves that picture.
And you got your son?
That's my boy Xavier at Niagara Falls when he was like 3 or no, he's like 4 there. He's 10 now. Well,
Wow.
you saw the older pictures.
Yeah.
I showed the younger pictures and the older pictures, but I love my boy. You know what I mean? So
Amazing.
that it for pictures? We're done. He's giving us see, it's all good.
So, DJing in the 80s and 90s versus now.
In the 80s and the 90s,
Versus now.
the 80s, from what I remember, we didn't know what we're doing. We were breaking ground. We were breaking music. We were controversial. We were playing what we wanted. We were playing new music. We were going against the grain. We were hardcore. We had no F's to give. And then the 90s came along. And then we had to start thinking and start being, we didn't do frat parties in the 80s. We did frat parties in the 90s. We did
That's right.
sorority parties. So the 90s comes along. This is around when I met you, right?
Yep.
So frat parties come along. You start thinking, okay, we got to be more. We didn't really do a lot of weddings back then. We started to. That's why I've been doing weddings now for 30 something years. When you start doing weddings and you start doing more clubs and you start doing more frat parties and whatnot, you can't think about yourself anymore. Now you got to be an entertainer. Now you got to maybe see what the people want to hear instead of what you want to play.
Sure. Yeah,
And
I get that.
in the 90s though, the clubs were off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't appreciate it. 99, I was the first DJ at 99 King, which was Libido after that. I was the first DJ at a lot of clubs.
We didn't appreciate it.
I was the first DJ at Barney's. They had other people doing stuff. I was told, I gotta stop saying I. Drake says I a lot. I'm catching myself. But I got to play at Barney's and didn't have a dance floor. And most people don't get that I did this. They didn't have a dance floor. There was no space for a dance floor. And the manager said, nobody's gonna dance. This is Starchild. Nobody's gonna dance. I was doing my radio show. I'm like, I don't do background. I'm like, people will dance. We'll see. And I start to play, and they didn't have a dance floor. And these guys were sitting at one of the booths or the tables, and I threw on this song, and it was not the typical song. It wasn't Super Freak. It was the other side of the album. It was Give It To Me, Baby, Rick James. And I threw on Give It To Me, Baby, Rick James. I could tell these guys were mixed kids, mixed people, mixed guys. They looked partially black, partially. I could tell they weren't from London. I just could tell. I just knew. And when I threw on that song, they got up and they started dancing.
Wow.
I looked over the manager who was over there. I go, no dance floor? And the next week, they had a dance floor. The same thing happened at Barking Frog because I DJ'd at Barking Frog, first person there after I left Old Chicago. Right. I was DJing behind the bar at Barking Frog.
I remember that.
That's the same place I met Jazzy and Mad Skills. And it was like, we don't need a DJ booth. We don't need a DJ stage. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Yeah,
there's a beam there.
And the DJ booth was behind the bar.
I went from having 3 drinks and a microphone and 650 people to being behind a bar with no drinks, no microphone, and I couldn't even see the dance floor. Like, what the heck? I go, no, you need a dance floor. You need a stage. And then they built a stage the year later, and then Jazzy came, and yeah. So it's so many different. The 90s was so, and don't forget, we were at Dr. Rockets and the Knack and Honest Lawyer and Deviate and Stages and Shakers and Notes and Ichabods and come on, you know what I mean? for years.
Versus now.
Oh, don't even get me started in 2024. It's like,
Versus now.
there's no 650 people. Dude, the stuff I did at Old Chicago, man, is legendary. You want me to give me 1 or 2 stories of Old Chicago that I did?
Sure, do it.
You want me to go there? What time is it? We got time.
We got time.
I'm just shaking my head. Amira let me get away with murder. She's gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe you're telling this story." But it was cool because people want to hear the story. I had themes. I'm the king of themes. I love themes. Themes are fun. Other DJs just did a job. I don't want to just do the job. I want it to be fun because I thought if it's already being different, if it's fun, people remember what's fun. They'll come back to what's fun. I thought that, right? I learned that in grade 12 English class. So I started doing themes. Let's do some fun stuff. People remember that. If you're a good DJ, you play good music, and you do a theme, they remember what was fun. That'll register with them. So I started doing themes. So I go to the AIDS place. It was a place where Marvell used to be on Dundas, and it's gone now. I drive by a place like that was flourishing, and now it's gone. And there was an AIDS place there, and there's people in there, and they had condoms. They had lots of condoms. They had different colored condoms. So I go in there, and they give you condoms, and they gave me 900 condoms of different colors. 900 condoms. I got the boxes of these condoms, the rectangular condoms. And I go back, and I knew what I was going to do. Before I got the condoms, I knew what I was going to do. I had the plan of what I was going to do before I did it. I go back to Old Chicago, and I play 3 sex songs. George Michael, I want to sex you up. I play 3 sex songs. And when I played the 3 sex songs in a row on CDs, by the way, I took the condoms, different colors, and I threw them into the crowd. 650 people. And my buddy Jimmy, who was the cook and the sound guy, Old Chicago Blues Band, whatever, he comes around, he goes, "Star, you idiot. Man, we're gonna have to clean this stuff up at the end of the night." I go, "Wait, Jimmy." You go, wait, you'll see. And I threw the condoms, and I played, "I want to sex," and I played it. And the place was just jamming. I was crazy back then. People thought I was nuts, but I was nuts. It was fine. At the end of the night, not one condom was on the ground. Everybody
Wow.
picked up the condoms. I go, "Jimmy, see, I told you to clean it up. It's condoms. Come on." But the theme was, wait, same bar. Band hated me. Band sabotaged this. Some of them are still my friends. On the same theme thing I wanted to do, I go to the bulk store. I get 400 chocolate kisses.
Okay.
And I play Prince. Kiss. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. I time it out. How long is the songs that I play? How long will it take me to get from the DJ booth? Was up in a thing at the time, a tower at the time. Get through the bands, whatever. Get around Old Chicago and come back and get back before the song's over. I timed it out. I actually timed it
Wow.
out before I did it. I timed out how long it would take me to give people. I get halfway. This is a true story. I get halfway through the bar. I'm giving away kisses. People are looking at me like, "Star, what are you doing? What stupid thing are you doing now?" Because every weekend I had a different theme. People would come and say, "We don't just come to see what you play. We come to see what you're going to do." And Amira would be like, "What are you going to do?" I'm like, "Amira, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission." I would do crazy stuff every single weekend. Every single weekend. She's like, "You're crazy." But people would come in droves to Old Chicago for what I was doing. 3.5 years I did this for. 3.5 years. So I'm playing Kiss, and I'm running around the bar with these Hershey's Kisses, handing them out to people as Prince Kiss is playing, and all of a sudden the music goes off. And here comes Jimmy, dead silence. What the hell? And I'm sorry, guys, but you guys did this, and you know sound. There was one chord, XLR, through the sound room, soundboard, in the sound room, and there's the back door, and the back door, and me and Jimmy find the chord because it went dead silence. 650 people, July 1990, whatever you mean, to 1999. Well, actually, I played, it was 2000, right? Dead silence. I'm halfway through the bar. I'm getting my theme through, and it just dead silence. What the hell? Ruined my whole theme. We find the chord. It was unplugged, and both ends are outside the door. The band sabotaged my whole thing.
No.
The band hated me, ruined my theme. I was halfway through. I would have made it. I timed it out. The band hated me. Why did the band hate me? 650 people. They had their people in front of them that did what they did. I had the whole bar. I had the patio. I had the whole bar. They did a mistake one day, and this is why I still have respect for bands. But when we say we're rock and roll, we're rock and roll artists. We don't play guitars. We play turntables. You know what I mean? I was at an MIA party at Fanshawe years ago when I was at CHW, and some guy looks at me. I don't know who invited me. I was drinking like draft beer. I'm sitting there by myself. I had no girlfriend, nothing. I was just bored and lonely. And some guy looks at me and goes, "Dude, what do you play?" Thinking I play a bass guitar, or electric guitar, or whatever. And I looked up and I go, "I play turntables." That's all I said to him. And he's like, "What the hell?" But we're rock stars. That's where we are because we were still entertainers. I mean, so when you get in the field like that, you're doing stuff like that, and you got 650 people in front of you, we're going to give it all we can. Be all that you can be, not to just get over KRS-One, Navy, right? But the band hated that. I used to say to the band, "Don't hold back. I'm not going to hold back." And I see them at Barney's and they're killing it. They're on a Wednesday, but on a Saturday they're playing the same 8 songs. This is why we have zero respect for the same 8 songs. Don't That's radio now. Why we do underground radio? We don't have respect for the same 8 songs. There's more songs in the world than the same 8 songs. Have a different variety. Play more than that. Your computer is play it's safe. I'm glad that it's safe. I'm happy for you that it's safe, but there's more music. Where are we? Are we at Music City? Because there's more music in the world than the same 8 songs. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're 100% right.
You regret
And
your
nowadays, especially like now,
You
the
have the internet, people's on the internet going,
Woo!
"Oh, I can't find any new music." Yeah, you can. I find new music every day.
I
I have
talked
so much new music that
when
my
I
crates, I play so much new music on my show that I forget that I played a song once. I have to go back in my old crates and like, "Oh, dude, I played a song once in my show last week. I played it once." You had to buy remember we had to buy records before? So you didn't forget what records you played back then 'cause you only had the records. Now you have so much songs,
I talked to so many labels and they're like, we get thousands of songs sent to us a day.
You
Like
can't your brain
there's
can't even
so much music.
you can't even and again, back to the we covered the back to the album. You have 18 songs in the album. 4 of them are hits, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, whoever it may be, Drake, whatever, but 3 of them are smoking hot songs. Do they get any airplay? Eminem's album came out. I haven't played it all. Dizzy Rascal's album came out. I haven't played it all. I've even previewed the whole thing, but I know it's smoking. I met Dizzy Rascal. You know what I mean? I know it's smoking. I know I can. There's certain artists that you can go and you can when you're getting it. And there's a way I'm saying this too. I always still say crates. I don't say MP3s. When you're getting a certain song, you should trust the artist because that artist has never let you down. Damian Junior Gong Marley, Bob Marley's son. You tap it. And here's the thing: most DJs won't do that. I do in my show. Play a song without previewing it because you trust the artist.
Yeah.
Nobody takes that chance
Yeah, yeah.
because you got to think Junior Gong's not going to make a crappy song. He's never has. He might make a less than epic song, but he's not going to make a crappy song.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because everybody wants to play the hits, nobody has the balls to do that in this day or did.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you just end up, it's not DJing at that point, right? You gotta be breaking
Let's
tracks.
did he fall asleep? And I'm on different sites, very different sites, DJ Swap to Sell, DJ setups, all sorts of stuff on Facebook, Twitch, whatever. There's one that they're saying the DJ setups, whatever. What was I gonna say? What's he doing? He's scrolling. Ooh, nice. What do you he just oh, let's do that. Okay, sorry. I remember. The voiceover work. Let's do that. Let's go back to the beginning.
So what is voice? So you're doing voiceovers now?
I've been into the voiceover stuff since my voice cracked, like alfalfa. Because when I started doing radio when I was 15, I didn't have this voice.
No.
I was squeaky. I was alfalfa. But then it cracked. And I had that voice. I did stuff with voices.com for a while. I've been struggling trying to get into the voiceover work. I've not ever, honestly, ever gotten paid for my voice.
Really?
I met a girl. Her name's Ellie Ray. She's in Toronto. She's the best. Shout out Ellie Ray. She's the best voiceover coach in the United States and Canada. In Canada, she coaches all of the voiceover people you've ever heard in every aspect. I'm going back to her. I'm finding you, Ellie Ray. I talked to you the other day. She wants to charge me for whatever. When I first met her at a voiceover.com mixer, she has said to me, I train all these guys how to be the best voices. And I sat down beside her. I go, Ellie Ray, can you help me? And she was telling the story like I tell stories. And she stopped and she looked at me. She goes, oh my God. I go, what? What? She goes, your voice. I go, what? She goes, you have it naturally. She goes, what I train these guys to be like, you have naturally.
Wow. That's cool.
And that was 15 years ago. And I've been loafing on it. So now I need to get into voiceover thing. And here's the aspect we didn't talk about. The problem now with voiceover stuff, which I'm finally, you're never too late to follow your dreams.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
of course.
Take care of your stuff. If it's a talent I have, when I get too tired to lug records, whatever, and DJ more, I still always have my voice. There's a lot of people who do voiceover stuff. One just died. That's legendary.
Really?
I'll tell you this story, and this ties in. A friend of mine does movies and TV shows. I went to Toronto. He's helping me. He's one part of 5 that I have hookups with. His boss's boss is this girl. This girl is the sister of the guy who just died. What is their last name? Sutherland.
Oh, wow.
She is Kiefer Sutherland's sister. And my friend Garrick in Toronto, he took a picture with Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland said to Donald Sutherland, who just died, "Dad, why are you doing voiceover stuff? You're a famous actor. What are you doing voiceover stuff for?
Mm.
You're a famous actor." And Donald Sutherland went like this, we tied back to the Young Guns. He showed his son a check. He's a famous actor. He gets paid for doing whatever. He goes, he showed him a check. What he gets paid for do voiceover for just a car company, whatever. Lots of money. The next month, Keith or something was doing voiceover stuff.
Wow.
Because you have the voice. So the actors are getting paid big time. But everyday common people like me, do you want to get into that? But here's another aspect that's happening right now. AI. This is deep. AI is taking over the freaking world in 2024.
Yeah, I know.
My DJ partner, Louis Brown, Mixmaster Jalu, what's up, dude? Tells me, look out for the AI. Watch out for the AI. AI is taking over. But I've talked to the other voiceover people, and they said, don't worry about the AI. You want to know why? CGI. When you go watch movies and you see too much CGI, Jurassic Park was done well, my bad. You know what I mean? When you see a movie and it's too much CGI, it's too fake. When you watch Jaws, there was no CGI back then. It was just, it was a fake shark, but you were generally scared. There's puppets and whatever, you're generally scared. You didn't go I didn't go in my bathtub. It's like in the lake or the river or the ocean. I didn't go in my bathtub because you were generally scared because it was so real, right?
Yeah,
but now CGI is everything, and you're watching stuff now. Everything's fake. Photoshop this, filter this. Everybody's Facebook is filter, whatever. It's all fake. So it's the same concept with AI that I found out for the majority of the people in the voiceover world don't want the fake stuff. AI can mimic everything you do now. It may end up that way, but in the meantime, I'm going to go for it and use my voice, even if I'm low key, because I'll be 80, I'll be 90, and I'll still my voice, and I'll just get better, like James Earl Jones, like Kiefer Sutherland, like Donald Sutherland, who just passed away, rest in peace. You know what I mean? And that's the voiceover stuff. So people are telling me everywhere I go in the bank, and they're like, "You have a good voice. You should do radio." Like I've been doing radio for 44 years. You should get paid for that. I go, I know. But now I'm just learning how to do the range and get into that because if it's a hobby, it pays a lot of money, but it's not just about the money. Things shouldn't be about the money. DJing should be about the money. Entertaining should be about the money. Back to the breakdancing. Sorry for a second. People have told me I should teach breakdancing, electric boogie, even though I'm still good at it, in the Olympics. My problem with that is breakdancing, electric boogie was a dance art. It wasn't a sport. I've never thought of it to be a sport when we were battling on the dance floors, when we were touring, when we were entertaining. It was never a sport. It was a dance form. I was asked, my friend Shannon at CTV, she's hooked me with the voiceover stuff. She wanted me to do breakfast television, doing a dance thing. And I really wanted to do it because, CTV. Of course. It's seen all over the world, right?
Yep.
It's seen all over the world. Oh, that's exposure. Why wouldn't I want to do that? But it was about exercise. And although electric boogie, I'm not going to do anything, is very it's very energetic. It's not a sport. It's not an exercise. It's a dance form.
Yeah,
that was my riff. We used to dance battle, and it being a Olympic sport, it rubbed me the wrong way.
Right. I get that.
Because I started the whole game, right? 1979, I started. We were in Hamilton Road with cardboard, moonwalking and stopping traffic when I was 14 years old. 14 years old.
Wow.
So now in 2024, it's like, should we treat it as a sport and is it all about money? Kind of rubs me the wrong way. Not that I don't want to do it and I don't want to find an avenue for that, but you're maybe losing the art form of it.
Here's an interesting question. Like we talk about breakdancing and stuff, and one of the things sort of tied into breakdancing, we talk about Run DMC, was like turntablism. And I was talking recently to Amir from DMC Canada, and shout out to Amir for trying to keep it going for so long. But what's your thoughts on that? Like the whole turntablism thing, like scratching and all that stuff. Like, because it's kind of it's not around as much as it was.
Oh, you're wrong.
You think so?
You're wrong.
Where is it?
The Beat Junkies, Jazzy Jeff, DJ Lord of Public Enemy, who I didn't think. If he heard me say that, he'd kill me. DJ Lord is epic.
No, but I'm saying in Canada. These guys.
Oh no, these guys are. There's tons of people in Canada. There's tons of people still.
Yeah, there's guys still around, but I'm saying we need to bring it back. We need to make it a thing again.
I DJ'd at Palisade in February, and before that, there was a manager there. He's not there anymore, and he wanted me to do a DJ competition thing because he thought DJs. I since DJ there, and I was kind of cool. And Melty Man was there doing his what does he do? The
retro thing.
Reagan. There you go, Anthony. There you go. There you go, Melty Man.
Shout out to Anthony.
Shout out to Anthony.
Love Anthony.
But before that, I did that. But the manager before was trying to get me to do a DJ competition hip hop thing, and I'm like, London doesn't have enough. If you did it in another city, maybe. But at the time, I was like, even though I'm one of the ambassadors of it, London doesn't have enough people to make a competition or a contest out of that. You know what I mean? Back in the '90s, yeah, when it was hype. You know what I mean? That'd be cool. Like even breakdance, electric boogie right now, there's still electric boogie and breakdancing. And I always say electric boogie and breakdance because electric boogie is everything standing up. Every time you do a wave, that was done properly, by the way. People, oh, you're breakdancing. No, breakdancing is on the ground.
Mm.
Electric boogie is anything top, and top rocking is in the middle. There's three, and people don't understand it. So when you do a wave or you do a pop or you take, that's electric boogie. It's an optical thing. Breakdancing is breaking on the floor. So that one was LA, one was New York, right? So that's the difference. People don't understand that. Oh, you want another one? The moonwalk isn't a moonwalk. You know who taught me this? Popping Pete from Breakin'. The moonwalk is called the backslide. You know who screwed that up? Michael Jackson screwed it up. When Poppin' Taco and Jeffrey Daniels and Popping Pete and Boogaloo Shrimp taught Michael Jackson how to do the moonwalk, Michael Jackson, who he is, said, "Oh, it's the moonwalk." Like, no, it's the backslide. Are you gonna tell Michael Jackson he's wrong? So it went down in history as being the moonwalk when it's actually called the backslide. The moonwalk
Wow.
is what Poppin' Taco did. The circular glide that goes in a circle. That's the moonwalk because it looks like you're going to the globe. That's the moonwalk.
Oh, wow.
And now it's on it. Now it's all over YouTube, and you see that now. I go, I knew this. Poppy Pete told me that 6 years ago. I knew that, but most people don't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
See,
Yeah.
you get schooled by the real story. Right?
No, but that's why I'm doing this, man. We gotta get it all out there.
And I didn't just make it up. I learned from the source. Poppin' Pete and
That's
the
the
Electric
best.
Boogaloos are from Soul Train, man. The first crew, the first crew wasn't Electric Boogaloos. The first crew was the Lockers with Shabadoo and Rerun and Tony Basil. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. And
Yeah.
Tony Basil's my Facebook friend.
Tony Basil,
who's friends with Felicia Rashad from Fame.
Wow.
And Bette Midler. These are people I know that are like, I can't believe you're my Facebook friend. I send her jokes all the time. She loves animals. This is Tony Basil. She wasn't just Mickey. Before that, she was the first crew, which is the Lockers, before the Electric Boogaloos on Soul Train, and before that, the 70s. So when people say it started in the 80s and the 90s, nah, dog.
No,
it started before that.
Way before.
Because Tony Basil will put you in your place. Tony Basil and the rest of it, and then Rerun passed away. Shabadoo just passed. I was talking to Shabadoo from Breakin'. I was talking to him. I was like, okay, I get a drop. It's all about the drops, right? He's like, I don't know. I don't feel well.
How many drops you got?
Oh, a number?
I don't know.
Over the years?
Roughly.
Not a lot. Not a
It's
lot.
a big deal, though? Like, it's a big deal in your world?
But the potency of them, I probably got about 70.
But it's a big deal in your world, eh?
It is because I started it. I started it, and now Facebook is supposed to be about networking. I use it for weddings. I'm dealing with 4 weddings right now. I'm a very big corporate wedding DJ. And plug. 519-851-0026. That was the first thing we didn't do that. Radio shows, www.knr1, that's Kingdom Nubia Radio. Radio station, Rising Sound FM. Amy, Modi, shout outs to you. Cool. Was Ruckus, not there anymore, but love to you, Raul. Still, there you go. Plugs for that. Cool. MWS Lifetime, we started in 1979. We covered that. Voiceover, we covered that. But the drops, back to that. Now I'm on Facebook, and back to what we're saying about who's human and who's not, and who's equal and who's not. Nobody's safe. If you add me on Facebook, I'm gonna ask you for a drop. And if I get a drop, I'm gonna play it on my show. Why wouldn't you? Of course. I used to watch a show called What's Happening. I used to watch a show called Good Times. It's a black show.
Good Times, yeah, man.
But What's Happening was it wasn't even any part of Good Times. It was What's Happening was a different show. The 2 main characters of What's Happening are both my Facebook friends of last week.
No, that's hilarious.
Like Martha Wash of the freaking Weather Girls is my Facebook friend.
What?
Like people go to my Facebook like, and people I know, they're like, this is fake, right? This is fake. And there's fake people. There's bots out there. You know what I mean?
Sure, of course.
But when I see the FICs, which we used to call it in the original Facebook, friends in common, now it's mutual friends. When I see the mutual friends, you're either a music industry person, a singer, a rapper, a dancer, a DJ, a producer. So that's the mutual friends we have for whatever reason it may be.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I don't feel they're obviously not friends. I'm not an idiot. I'm like, oh yeah, we go for coffee every week. I'm not an idiot. I don't know the person. I'm not, but at the same time, if you talk to me for more than 2 minutes, if you show personal stuff, if you give me a drop and whatever, for whatever reason, cool. I'm gonna play it on my show. Because I played your records.
The drop thing is so
I couldn't do the drops.
It's cool.
Back when we started it. When we started back in 79 and 80, I couldn't get those drops. I couldn't get a Boogaloo Shrimp drop when Breaking came out. There's no way, but now he sends me one. It's 2 minutes long. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because and people want to say, "Oh, they're has-beens. You have Rock the Park." And I heard somebody say, "Rock the Park is only for has-been acts."
Oh man, come on.
And Ja Rule was there, and you know this. Ja Rule was there, and Maya was there, and En Vogue was there, and Boyz II Men was there. And come on, you know what Ja Rule's doing when you say he's a has-been? He's crying his tears in the dollar bills he got paid for doing Harris Park. You know what I
No,
mean?
man.
The hundreds and $1,000s he got paid. Come on, you think Ja Rule cares about somebody calling him a has-been because he hasn't put out a song and think he cares? Because he's still getting booked. He's still relevant in 2024.
Well,
And people still go.
you know
You know what
what?
I mean?
It speaks to one of the things we should talk about. It speaks to, who's going out, who's spending money on tickets. I mean, let's face it, ticket prices now are way more than they used to be
Yeah.
because of the cost of touring. The cost of touring, man, I'll tell you, has gone through the roof. You
And
know,
we know that if they're touring, they're gonna hit London, but their tour manager, because they're gonna hit London, they're gonna hit Cambridge, they're gonna hit every little city outside the biggest city and make as much money as they can,
there's
right?
gonna be
Would you? You know what I mean?
yeah, but there's gonna be a phase right now. We kind of I talk about this, right? Name me famous songwriters under 30. It's hard because we
And back to what's important about the music, we go back and forth. When I talk about the Rat Pack is legendary. Sammy Davis
legendary,
Jr., Frank
legendary.
Sinatra,
I listen to it all the time,
legendary.
all the time.
You know what I mean? You
I
can't
have
make
serious
music like that.
dude. I have Sirius XM in my
And
car. I listen
don't
to it
get
all
me
the
started
time.
about how much I hate autotune. That
Yeah,
sheep sound.
well,
"Wee." If you need autotune to make yourself, it's not even you need it to make yourself sound good. Like what they say, like Madonna would have autotune, and certain people they say share and whatever. They bring up Roger Troutman from Zap. He didn't use autotune. He used a voice box, and it was a different sound.
mm,
More bounce to the ounce and all those funk songs
yep.
wasn't an autotune. It wasn't autotune. It was a voice box. So that dance floor, more bounce to the ounce, and sore off so tough and heartbreaker. That was a different sound. It was a funk sound, Soul Train. What it was not. It was not sheer. I believe it wasn't the same. And that was different. And what Lil Wayne started with the whole thing. Lil Wayne started. Lil Wayne is genius. He's a really good rapper. He's a really good. But then T-Pain did it. T-Pain, I still give props to because T-Pain did it. Bartender, that's all great. I know my songs, it's fine. But everybody that follows suit and now they need autotune, and they don't just need autotune to correct their crappy voice because they can't sing. They need autotune. Are you listening to the back of the class? They need autotune because it's hype now. And they can't make new songs without it because their producers are saying, what do you mean you're just going to sing? Well, Billie Holiday and Sarah Vaughan sang without autotune.
Hmm.
Marvin Gaye sang without autotune. They didn't need autotune to be legendary singers, and it will go down. And Luther Vandross, Barry White didn't need autotune. I hate autotune because it's not just a whiny, horrible sound that they use as a filter and a buffer. Now they use it as you need to have it, or they won't sell your records if you make records.
Yeah.
You don't
No,
see?
I agree.
Is that crazy?
To me, I look at, because I listen to a lot of different genres, a lot of different artists and stuff like that. Like you look at Zach Brown, legendary, guy that writes incredible songs, his incredible band, but can sing, but I mean, is he on the cover of Vogue magazine? No,
Yeah,
like but here's someone who's focused on the art and who can play guitar like nobody's business, who can sing like nobody's business, who can write songs like nobody's business. And now he's on a headline tour with Kenny Chesney playing. I'm going to see him at Ford Field,
yeah,
playing these massive shows. And because these people they've worked on the craft. I mean, I listened to a lot of the music from back in the day from people who learned how to sing.
yeah.
They learned how to sing and they learned how to stay in tune. And you appreciate that music a lot. Now, I agree with you. Like, there's a lot of artists who are using auto tune for creative ways. I get it. Um, I think it's like it's just the flavor of the month. It's like 707, 808. It's like there was a time for it,
When we
and it
used
will come back
303,
again. It
when
will
we used 303s
recycle.
and 808s and the Miami bass sound, and you had the extra bass, whatever. So now we circle back into it again. When I'm mixing, this sounds bad. I know how to mix. I'm one of the masters. It took me years. I have tapes and tapes and tapes of me practicing to be good. I used to suck. I have tapes of me sucking. Practice makes perfect. I have tapes of me sucking, but I have tapes of me getting better and better and better and being part of the masters and whatnot. That's why, because I know DJs now, I'm not naming any names that can't hold a mix.
Mm.
Can't put the crossfade in the middle and go get a drink or go change your shirt and leave that locked in the mix because the mix is tight without using sync, or it's locked because your skills are there because and you're using your ear. You're not looking at the laptop or seeing where the BPMs are. You're not using the sync. You're listening to the song. Let me say it again. You're listening to the song, and you're listening when
Yep.
the boots in the dryer. So when I use filters, and the S4 I bought from you, the native instruments, when I use filters and I use extras and in between escapes that Jazzy Jeff uses, it's not an escape to cover my mix that's a crappy mix. Let me say it again for the back of the class. It's not a cover, it accentuates what I'm doing. I can strip off all the filters and all the bells and the whistles and the color. You can listen to my mix in black and white and it'll still be dirty and nasty. It's just extra flavor. It's not to cover. A lot of DJs, 90, 80% of DJs are using the cover to run away from a real mix. And you can't do that unless you have ear for the music. That's what the difference between us and them is.
Here's a question.
And we can use all the new technology. We can use the stems. We can do whatever we can, and they're good. And I'm now learning about the stems and learning what they're doing. But here's the thing that I need to say: your music knowledge. You can have all the new technology you want, but if you don't have the music knowledge, if you don't know who the Rat Pack is, if you don't know who I DJ'd a wedding, and I had an older dude, stuck-up dude, look at me, goes, "Do you got any blue eyes?" That's all he said. You got any blue eyes? And he looked at me because I'm a black guy, and I was DJing his daughter's wedding, and he was a rich guy. And he was and I had records there too. And he just looked at me and he said that to me. I go, and I was like, and I shook my head and like, he said it like, I don't know. And before he got out of the room, I threw Frank Sinatra on. I knew who he was talking about. He wasn't expecting me to know who Frank Sinatra was. I watched him walk and he was getting to and as soon as he got to the doorway, I threw it on. And it was like early in the wedding, whatever. It was nobody dancing, it was just people getting their food, whatever. But he turned back and looked at me like, oh, damn. I go, yeah, what now? Any more questions?
Yeah.
My music knowledge is
music knowledge is huge.
You know what I mean?
Is.
And when you're remixing stuff and you're doing stems and whatever, you can Google stuff all you want, but your music knowledge, here's the difference. You grew up in the clubs and you were there. And now I don't have a problem playing Depeche Mode. I don't have a problem playing Duran Duran because even if we thought that music was cheesy, I don't have a problem remixing Platinum Blonde. I hated Platinum Blonde back then, but I don't have a problem playing it, remixing it now. You know why? Because at least it was real.
Yeah, right.
There's no auto-tune, there's no cheesiness of it. And, bring it on. We were mixing that. We're doing mixes now that people were like, what are you doing playing Rick Astley with a dubstep song? What? Because nobody else is doing that. Rick Astley dubstep version, nobody else is doing that. You mean? That's dance music to me. That's dance music to me. Because it's a hit, but it's a remix. It's a remix though. You know what I mean?
I mean, even Rick Astley is like, he's like a pop culture icon now.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Debbie Gibson is like, we thought it was the cheesiest thing in the world back then, but you do a Debbie Gibson remix with a house song right now? Everybody old school. I do weddings. You throw on Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or 98 Degrees or any of that stuff. The older girls, the cougars, lose their minds because they were the kids back then.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not about and now I talked to Alfie the other day and I saw him doing the thing. Alpha's still we're friends, and he was doing a gig and it was at Western and there's like 2,000 people and he's playing ABBA, Dancing Queen. And the kids, 19-year-old kids in 2024 are losing their minds. What do you know about ABBA? You're 19 in 2024. What do you know about ABBA? Your parents know. What do you know? You know from your parents. You know from the generation. So keep the music alive. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And guess what? Guess what's in ABBA? There's no auto-tune in ABBA. They're listening to that song that was classic. We might be sick of it. Mixmaster Jalu was playing Planet Rock at Ichabod's years ago, or playing rock and roll. I go, dude, why are you playing? And this is years ago. I go, what are you playing this old school stuff for? And it was old to me then because we've been playing the club for years. You know what he said to me? He goes, it's old to us, but it's new to them. I go, son of a bitch, you're right. You know what I mean? It's old to us, but it's new to them. So every generation, they're still the same age, and we get
remember when they remixed they did that September 99 remix?
Yeah.
It was like that for me then.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's old to us, but it's new to them.
Yeah.
So now we change the game, like Jay-Z said, change the game. Right? And we remix everything. Why not? But your music knowledge is acceptable. It's off the chain.
Okay, so speaking of that, your favorite 5 records of all time.
Oh my God, why would you do that? You looking at that? Let's answer the first question first.
No. Favorite 5 records of all time.
That's impossible because there's so much music. Roger Troutman, his single album, that's one.
Okay.
Because it would have to be is it a record, an album? Is it an album? It's a collective. It'll be the collective, right?
Yeah.
Sade's first album.
Okay.
Because all of her songs are just epic.
Epic, yeah.
Think of albums that are like just the album itself, like it's just, it's all good. Oh, that's so tough because there's so many singles. You know what I mean? Oh, something I just I'll bust myself. I didn't even know. I'm so stupid. It's at there's a music store in White Oaks, and it was there. I'm guilty pleasure. I didn't. I'm such an idiot. Everybody raves about this record, and I don't have it. I have 43 big blue bins of records. I don't have this record, and I won't. And people were like, "Starchild, we thought you were a hip hop DJ. We thought you were everything." I don't have this record. I never bought it. I didn't have it, but I have every single of it. Illmatic, Nas.
Mm.
BBC One Extra played every song on last week. I was listening to BBC One Extra Target show, and they played every song off the album. I go, I know all these songs. I just don't have the collective. Remember talking about the collective and the
Yeah.
story? I have all those songs. I'm like, oh, no wonder people think Illmatic is such a wicked. I don't have the actual album, but I have all the songs from it. Epic album.
Yeah,
Epic.
absolutely.
Bob Marley up there. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like it's just things you have to have.
Yeah.
There's other things. Oh, there's so many. I can't think of there's so many.
One more.
Yeah, but I don't see I'm gonna goo myself because when I say one more, there's gonna be like 15 more. Everybody's gonna call and, oh my god, Starchild, I thought you'd like you can't do a list like that because people diss you because like, oh, you didn't say this, you didn't say this, you didn't say Notorious B.I.G., you didn't say Tupac. Yeah, I just did. You know what I mean? You didn't say this, you didn't say that. Yeah, like there's so many that I just all right, I'll name a small one. I'll name two small ones. Can I name two small ones?
Sure.
And they're off the cuff, and nobody's gonna see this coming. They're off bands. I love this because nobody's gonna see this coming. One is Lucy Pearl and one is Power Station.
Mm.
Two bands that were from different bands that were both epic, that were one-time things. Bang a Gong, which is an old song, by the way.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember
Some
it.
Like It Hot. When that video came out in freaking Much Music, oh my God, I was a kid. I was like, oh my God. Robert, it was just, oh, and that band, Power Station, the two guys from Duran Duran, Robert Palmer, Looking for Clues, and Tony freaking, Tony, what's his name? Tony, what's his name? From Chic.
Oh, right. Yeah,
The drummer from Chic.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's so old school. And Lucy Pearl, Tribe Called Quest, In Vogue. Come on, like the collaboration. The collabs, man. So
Yep.
you go and then you do something epic like that. That's just and it's never been done before. It's never been done again. That's epic to me. John Taylor and Andy Taylor, like doom 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 doom. And I'm a funk guy. I'm a funk guy. That's Duran Duran. But yeah, now you think back to the 80s. There's so much 80s stuff. And when Electric Circus and Much Music and all that stuff came out back then, I listened back to music like Gowan and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Larry.
Strange Animal and you know what I mean?
Larry was great,
Broken
man.
Wings and all that stuff. Like
Worked
this
with
is
him
before people. I
bunch
say
of
this stuff,
times.
be like, "Oh, you're old, man. You're old." But I have those records now. I look back
Mhm.
at them like me and my DJ partner Jalu were like we remix every Sunday, every Saturday on KNR1. We're remixing all these old songs.
Amazing.
And people are tuning in going, "Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't." Yeah, we did because we can because we have the music knowledge. We have the new music. We're not even touching the stems. We're just doing it raw.
That's awesome.
Let's
I
just
love
take the
it.
bass out of this bad boy, put the treble in there, and let's loop it for a minute. Sometimes we mix the loop
Mm.
because you can do that back in the 80s. You can keep that going longer. So let's just hold it. I call it holding on to the end tail of the song or the mouth, like the fish mouth of the. So you loop the beginning of it or you loop the end of it. So that last symbol's like, and the song's about to end. It is, and you're looking at the record, not the, you know, and it's about to end. You got like 10 seconds, but you hold it. You just hold it, and you mix another song in. You just created a new mix, a new song on the fly.
Yeah, that's
Young
cool.
DJs don't do that, bro.
No. Speaking of DJing, so you saw that the one question I had was, at what point do you stop DJing? Ever?
When it's not fun anymore, when it becomes a job, when new music stops being given to you, when it becomes a job. I was doing Radio Western and I was doing a wedding and I don't get paid for Radio Western. I didn't get paid. I got paid for KNR, Rising Sound, Ruckus Avenue, not a dime. It's volunteer, right?
Mm.
But I get paid doing weddings, right? I gauge what I get paid doing weddings. I don't believe in raping people. I'm in coach right now talking to people at weddings. I don't I don't believe in undercutting other DJs, really. There's a line, but if you're gonna overcharge, come on. I know. I'm a wedding DJ, so I know what it you don't charge. I'm sorry, don't charge. I don't care what the rate is. Don't charge 30 people in their backyard $2,000. Don't do that. Do that at Lamplighter. Do that at like Delta. You see they get the Lamborghinis and Lexus rolling. Yeah, that's fine. They can afford. That's fine. But gauge for the people. A lot for people. When I was doing a wedding at Delta, I'm lugging in my PVs, as I used to have.
Yep.
And this guy says to me, he goes, yo, man, you're Starchild, dude. You're DJ Starchild. And he says to me, but what are you doing, man? You're slumming it. I can't get this out of my head. He goes, you're slumming it. I'm lugging in the speakers. I'm getting paid at the time. It was like 20 years ago. I'm getting paid $500 for doing this wedding at the time. And he says, you're slumming it. And I go, slumming it? You know me as Starchild. I'm famous as Starchild on the radio, but you think I'm slumming it doing this wedding. When do you stop DJing? When it becomes boring, when you're not, here's the thing. What does DJ stand for? This is on these sites too. What does DJ stand for? Where I come from, it stands for disc jockey. When you're jockeying on a horse, there's these horse jockeys are racing, and they got little whips, little midget guys around there. They're guiding a horse. You're guiding a horse. When you're jockeying the disc, that's what Grandmaster Flash and Cool Herc and these guys and Theodore and Jam Master Jay and Jeff were doing. They're jockeying the disc. You're a disc jockey. Now all this new stuff didn't even have the disc anymore. What are you jockeying? Are you even entertaining? Are you even rocking it anymore? Are you even working it? It's the difference to me of an automatic car and a standard car.
Mm.
I know how to drive both. I've driven both. I just don't like standard cars. That's too much work. But that's actually jockeying the disc because you're doing the work.
Right.
Cars parallel park themselves now. You got Teslas that drive themselves now. That's not jockeying the disc when your car's driving itself. That's not, no. I'll say it again. If your car's driving itself, that's not jockeying the disc.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say it's about. You're not rocking the crowd. When you're just pushing. When I see people DJing now on whatever sites and they don't have headphones on, I know you preset everything.
I know.
When you have the button, we all have the technology in my S4. When you're just pushing buttons, I know you pre-program that mix. I know you're just pushing a button. It sounds fantastic.
You got a folder on your laptop.
You got a folder on your laptop.
Everything's at the same BPM.
Yeah, it's like a DMC DJ where you're like everything is same BPM. You can't make a mistake. If you have a Lotus Esprit and you're driving it on rails, what's the chance of going off road? There's no chance. You're like a train. There's no chance. It's very safe. It all comes back to the word safe. It's very safe. Jockeying the disc isn't safe. It's having imagination and nation of imagine and art being different and skills and music knowledge.
Favorite genre of music?
Oh, dude, why you gotta go there? First off, my name is Starchild because I stole it from this guy. His name is Paul Stanley, but I think he stole it from this other guy, Bootsy, which it comes full circle. So I gotta say Peter Criss and Kiss Alive 2 was sick. But I did play.
I went to the last show.
I went to the show in Toronto.
No, MSG.
I went to the show when all of them were together. When they came back and they had the makeup on, I cried. Because it was Peter and it was Ace and it was like the original guys.
Oh, the original guys.
And I was like, how cool is this going to be? We were in the nosebleed section. Pat Robinson, we were there, and we were in the nosebleed section. Thank God we were in the nosebleed section because you saw everything. If you were right front stage, you wouldn't, because Gene flew up in the air, and it was the best show ever. I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad I lived to see that. Neil Peart, come on, Buddy Rich, but it's a new guy. So I have a video, and he's just playing the drums like it was a bass guitar. He remixed some song, and he's just playing the drum. It's just sick. The rapid fire. Oh, I have a very big appreciation for as many band guys hate me. I'm a rock star. I have. So you love the music.
So genre rock.
What do you mean?
Favorite genre of music?
What are you talking about? Don't ask me that question.
All of them.
All of them. I can't even. Okay, let me just break this down. He's like, when is this interview going to stop? I'm the king of versatility. I'm DJ Starchild. I created the 14 flavors. Let me see if I can name them by hand. 14 flavors I play on my show on a Saturday and Sunday. 6 till 8, KNR1, Rising Sound. R&B, hip-hop, I have to count it on my fingers. Dubstep, slow jams, old school, reggae, soca, techno, house music, drum and bass, grime, that's 11. I'm missing 3.
Yeah.
I say old school?
Yes.
Funk. I didn't say funk. That's 12. Gospel. I didn't say gospel.
No.
That's 13. And there's one more. I play 14 flavors. And I was told back in the rave days I wasn't allowed to play more than one.
Wow.
And I don't play all 14 every weekend.
No,
but some weekends I have the record crates there. I'm like, let me just, once I get 7 deep, I'm like, let's finish it. Finish them. But some weekends, though, you get people tuning into the show on Twitch, whatever. You're playing whatever. You get rated sometimes. And that sucks. I got rated at the end of my show, and Mixmaster Jalu's show was coming on. And Modi, my DJ partner, is like, when you get rated, it's common sense to keep going what you're doing. I'm like, no, my show has set time. So if they come in the end of the show starts at 6. You know what I mean? So styles of music, I'll go down that rabbit hole. I'm playing house music. When I play house music on Fridays, it's 3 hours of wicked house music, and I do not play the same kind of house music.
Mm.
It's classy houses, gospel houses, funky houses, tribal houses. I break the rules for that. Most house people play one style of house. I play them all.
So
As long as it's between the +8 and -8, I play them all.
so let's get into that. What does house music mean to you?
Soul, Chicago, New York, Chicago, Frankie Knuckles, soul, singing, beats, ass shaking, body moving, not fist bumping, so not trance.
Mhm.
Let me just say this without even a grain of salt, black music.
Mhm.
And I don't mean black music that only black people can listen to it. When you watch the videos of Chicago, they have videos lunchtime, lunchtime. They're on their lunch break and they're in a parking lot and they go for lunch and they're dancing in a parking lot to house music. That's house music. That's not trance.
Yeah,
That's
no.
not fist bumping. That's not a beer.
I
That's not
get
a
it.
Labas Blue Clear beer commercial.
Yeah, I get
Roger
it.
Sanchez was a friend of mine. He gave me a drop. I had the drops. I got the drops from everybody. Roger Sanchez plays, and I'm looking at the crowd. I'm like, where the hell is everybody? Other people. There should be no one genre of people in any function. I'll say it again. There should be no one genre of people in any function when the music's supposed to be universal.
It is
So when you
universal.
see a beer commercial and
Music
and
is universal,
you know what I mean?
period.
No one color of people, one whatever should be because
There's no
it,
such thing.
it shouldn't be
We're all
in any
humans.
country,
We all vibrate the
especially in
same.
Canada. You know what I mean? You
No.
shouldn't look at that in the video like, oh, there's 2,000 people there, but there's not. There's all black people. There's no white people. There's all white people. There's no black people. There's no Chinese. There's no natives.
Man,
There shouldn't be
when I
like
went
that.
to the Cube concert, we did the Cube tour. We were doing the production on it. I went to the Cube concert in the Budweiser Gardens, and more than half the building was white, but everybody was rocking out, man.
Yeah.
Because we're all human and we all vibrate the same, and music is literally, shout out to Eddie Gordon, who was on my pod. Music is literally one of the only universal languages in the world.
That's what I'm saying.
Period.
So when I was doing the Friends of my Mr. Cairo and I knew what I was doing back then and bring the two together and the collabs, I knew what I was doing. Anthrax knew what they were doing when they did Public Enemy. Run DMC brought Aerosmith back to life. Aerosmith was dying. Steven Tyler was dying. Aerosmith was dying. And they're like, let's do a collab. We're like, why would we want to do that with you guys? Next thing you know, Aerosmith is fine now.
I can't wait. I'm going to see them in January. I was supposed to see them, but they canceled the show because he blew his voice out.
Oh, see?
So they rescheduled, and I'm going to see them in January. I'm so excited. I haven't seen them before.
But the collabs too, though, it brings the people together because you have this massive amount of people over here, this massive amount of people over here that never would want to do anything with each other, but their icons decide to go have tea together
Yeah.
and make a song together. Like, what the hell, man? What the hell, dude? Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, say. It's like, you know what I mean? And then they hated each other because Michael brought all the rights, which Paul should have done. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? We know the
Yeah.
story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Okay, hip hop. What is hip hop?
you want to go in hip
What
hop?
does hip hop mean to you?
Hip hop, for the record, boys and girls, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Did not start in 1992. If you think it started in 1992, you're sadly mistaken.
Right. So
I talked to a famous guy the other day. I was at this show. Everybody knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a friend of mine now. And I asked him, I go, what? I can't believe this. I'm shaking my head. He's very known in London. He's very known. And I go, what is your first memory of hip hop? And I just thought to ask that because I know what my first memory is and whatnot. You know what this guy said to me? He said, It Takes Two, Rob Bass.
wow.
I go, it's your first memory of hip hop? And you're a famous rap guy in London? No, there's no disrespect, but he's a young guy.
Sure. Yeah.
My first memories of hip hop is a song called Super Rhymes by Jimmy Spicer. It was 1978.
Wow.
And I have the record. It's a 14-minute long song.
Oh,
And it has a whole bunch of instruments in it. And hip hop doesn't have instruments like horns and guitars. And no, it's all beats and drum machines, whatever. This is a song from way back before anything. So my memory of hip hop is Curtis Blow and I'm talking before Sugar Hill Gang. Sugar Hill Gang, which is frowned upon, who I met at the NAC. There's 25 people there. I talked to them and Sequence, Sequence is the female version before Salt and Pepper, before TLC. Sequence came out with Funk You Up, which is being sampled by Dr. Dre the whole bit. Sequence is Blondie, Cheryl Pearl, and Angie B, who's Angie Stone. And this is not a joke. Two of them are my Facebook friends. Cheryl's my Facebook friend. I know who Sequence is. I have the records. I was there in New York. I was living there. I'm begging them for a drop. You know what they did to me? Cheryl Angie Stone, Angie B, was in LA. They send me a drop. All three of them. Angie Stone. Angie was in town. They're in LA. She sends me this drop. It's a video drop, but it was Mission Impossible. It was self-destruct. So when I opened it,
No.
it self-destructed. I got to see it once and it was gone. And she's still my Facebook friend. I go, you suck. So, I waited my whole life. I had the records for this drop, and you sent me a self-destruct drop. You know who else did that to me? Chubb Rock. Same
No.
thing. Masters of the Wheels of Steel, Chubb Rock. I opened it, watched it once. If I'd known that, I would have opened my Audacity and recorded it. So it had recording. Yeah.
Now
So
you just need to do that for everyone.
everyone, because when I got Biz Markie at that Run DMC at the NAC or back in the day, my mistake that was my first drop. Biz Markie, rest in peace, was my very first drop before I got Jam Master Jay, which I had Jam Master Jay, by the way. I learned, I had it in a cassette tape, and back then with cassette tape, tapes would tape over stuff. So when I got the Biz Markie drop, I didn't listen to it. I just recorded it on my little Sony whatever, and when I listened back to it, there was something else that was on there, and it was ruined because it was overlayered. I didn't listen back to it to see. You should have had blank tape, so when you record it, it was just his, but it was recorded over something else, and it was just muffled. I was like, oh, it's Biz Markie. Think I can get it again? He's dead. He's gone. So I learned from a mistake. That's why now I have everything's digital, whatever, easy voice recorder. I listen to it before I get away. You know what I mean? So original hip hop, 1979, 1977, 1975, Cold Crush Brothers, before, and those guys hate, for the record, they hate Sugar Hill Gang. They hate those guys. You know why they hate them? Because Sugar Hill Gang went international. It's the biggest international, Rappers Delight is the biggest international hip hop song, and people think that's what, just like some people think 1992, they think that's what started hip hop. But meanwhile, the Cold Crush Brothers, and they're going to thank me for this, was 75, and they were in the clubs. An international song that was only in the studio was made in the studio. It was never in the clubs. It was never the block parties. It went big. It was copying what those guys did in the clubs, but it was never the first hip hop thing. It was never the origin. So that's where I know Jimmy Spice and Curtis Blow and all. That's all before LL Cool J, all before Big Daddy Kane, all before MC Lyte, who I met, all before that. You know what I mean? That's my origin. I was there in New York. I learned that stuff. And I heard Rapture. I heard Blondie talking with Fat Five Freddy. I was there when that song came out. It was huge. But I also was listening to Jimmy Spicer before she did that. So you try to explain that now in 2024. I'm like, they're like, how old are you?
Yeah, but that's why I said to you when we started this thing, man. We got to get this down.
I don't make this stuff up.
We got to get this down.
You know what I mean? If somebody's got to tell the story. Again, like Young Guns, I was saying it before, like Young Guns too, Emilio Estevez, Kristen Slater, Young Guns 2, Billy the Kid is the story. And I reference to this every time, because when people talk about the breakdancing and the electro boogie and who started it, people talk about Us the Masters and Mike Rollins, who did the funk show, and the origin, and Lewis and Headley's dad, who was the old guys, that started the Caribbean Club and whatever, the guys who did it first. And the Soul Patrol, who's actually the first pop locking group before the Knights of Sound Table in the 70s. I started the 80s. The Soul Patrol did that first before I started my group. That's the 70s. I know about that because I was there. This is the origin. When people talk about this stuff, people don't want to tell that story because they don't know. They weren't there.
Yeah, right.
You weren't born. You say you weren't born for a lot of the stuff I just said.
No, I know. It's true.
I'm not making up stories. And you want to fact check people about fact checking? Go fact check. Go check it. Go do your reference. I'll give you a year to go talk to people and come back, and you'll come right back to full circle. And I'm not making up stories. It's the truth. So the story has to be told properly from the beginning of the beginning of the book, beginning of the movie. Don't skip over stuff. Don't flub over stuff. I mean, I will not take away from who did what, but don't take away from what we did, right?
No, 100%.
I'm not erasing anybody's whatever you did. Props to you. Cool. But you're acting like we weren't here. And you're acting like we're still not here when we have KNR1, Rising Sound, Friday Night Flights, Construction Productions Platinum, Saturdays and Sundays, 6 to 8 p.m. I'm plugging it again for the last 10 years. Are you still in the show? Are you still doing Radio Star? I'm like, yeah. What do you think I died? It's like Dre's like, what do you think I sold them all? You know that reference. You think I got guns? What do you think I sold them all? You think I sold all my records? You think I forgot my music knowledge? You think I forgot to DJ? We're still here. When do we stop DJing? When it becomes stale, when we can't do it anymore, when the young kids have taken over. Then we can, and even then, I'll still be in my bedroom playing music for myself.
I'm doing it. I'm still playing in my place.
Then I might turn on a camera, and everybody wants to tune in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when I'll stop. August is booked up almost.
Really?
I got nothing for July. It's weird. I got nothing. Alpha, thanks a lot. But August is booked up. You can't have them all, bro. I don't mind competition. There was a time when the Masters of Wheels of Steel, we were the only DJ crew. We were the only DJ crew back then. So we didn't have competition. We didn't have anybody. So we were dumb not to take in that whole bit. Mr. Groove said that. That's fine. There's competition now, but I can't put in full time because I worked a job for 14 years. I have a son now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't tour like Bad Boy Bill. I can't. Of course, I'm jealous of Melting Man and Nathan and Bill, and of course I'm jealous. Of course, I want to go do a rave. Of course I do, because I do a rave every single weekend. I'm the same level as the guys doing the raves. Roger saying I'm the same level. I'm just doing it from Star Labs. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But people are coming to me. I'm not going to them. I'm not getting on a plane and do whatever. So when do you stop DJing? When it stops being fun, it stops being good. When the music producers stop giving us the music, that's when you stop.
Yeah.
But you don't stop because you stop making money. Because I know a lot of DJs who fell off. I don't really have a lot of respect for you. I didn't say any of your names, but I don't really have a lot of respect for you that you fell off and you stopped playing the game because you weren't in it for the love of the music. We were always in it for the love of the music.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
We
absolutely,
were just
100%.
vehicles we sometimes when I do my show, I just tune out to the cameras. I can't you bright lights here, but sometimes I do my show. I got Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitch. I just tune out. I just S4 and I just get into music and I'm just running. And I look back, I'm like, oh crap, 20 people showed up. You know what I mean? Because you forget you're actually, you're live. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
That's what you're doing it for. You're doing it for the love of the music. Like people call me like, dude, looks like you're getting down. You don't even care who's watching. I'm like, I don't. I really don't. I really don't.
Is there anything that you wish you would have known 30 years ago?
What would I tell myself 30 years ago? Watch out for technology.
Yeah.
Watch out for technology. There's a place, it was called Urban Outfitters. It was there for 10 years. You can understand its story.
Uh-huh.
It's on Oxford and Richmond. Was on Oxford.
Was.
Was. When it showed up, it replaced this place called Blockbusters. And Blockbusters was on Oxford and Richmond.
Yeah.
In that same spot for years. And we used to go to Blockbusters. And it was a highlight. You have a date, you meet a girl. You didn't know the heartbreaking feeling when you pulled that case and the VCS, the tape was like, oh, I can't get that movie. They don't know. The young millennials don't understand that void. But that place is gone. And now Urban Outfitters was there for 10 years is gone. What's coming next? So I would tell people now in 2024, watch out for the AI. Oh, you morons who are creating the AI. Oh, well, maybe the robots won't think for themselves. Have you seen Cyberdyne? Have you seen Terminator? Have you seen iRobot? How dumb are you to create a freaking piece of machinery that's going to take over a thought for you? I've been to, where is it? Heart Sushi.
Mm.
And they got robot waiters.
Really?
Yeah. Rolls by you, and this little girl, she's a 4-year-old girl. She goes, thanks, robot. I'm like, this is the beginning of this. This is the beginning of the end right here.
Wow. That's wild.
Because humans, you go to Walmart and there's robot. They fired the person who's sweeping the floors.
Well,
the robot's doing it.
Amazon's warehouses.
People get mad at me for using Amazon.
It's being picked by then the robots. They move and they take the stuff to the conveyors and everything.
The humans are being replaced.
It's crazy.
The humans are being replaced.
Well, it's an efficiency thing, right?
The AI and the stems and the making everything so easy and making songs so easy, the humans are being replaced. Where's the character? Where's the love? Where's the skill set? Where's the, you know what I mean? They're just picking our brains.
Well, yeah, but
it's got to come full circle at some
it's
point.
replacing the energy and the journey, right? And that can't be replaced by a robot.
I saw a meme the other day that said, and this is like one of the house guys in Chicago, and it said, the DJs, what was it? The people used to dance to the DJ, and now the DJ dances and the people watch the DJ dancing.
Yeah.
That's sad, bro.
I know. I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, because everybody's sitting there with their cell phones.
With their cell phones.
Yeah.
Taking pictures of somebody fist bumping. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like using filters a lot. I do, but I don't like, people watch my show. I got a lot of lights. My DJ partner's like my one DJ partner. He has no lights in Conquering Line Studios. He's got no lights. But he's got a big studio. We remix stuff there all the time. It's all great. I'm not the same. None of us are the same. I got enough lights. My Star Labs is like, you watch my show, it's on my face. It looks like a discotheque. I got a disco ball. Everything's down there. But that's what I want it to be like. I want to recreate a discotheque because I don't go to a lot of clubs anymore. I'm going to have to stop playing club music. You know why? Because I don't go to a lot of clubs anymore. So I feel like a hypocrite playing all this club music. And I don't even go to clubs anymore.
Well, there ain't a lot of clubs to go to.
Right?
So.
But the music's still being produced. And I'm still playing it. It's still heavy and it's still funky and it's still hardcore.
Absolutely.
So I was shaving today. I was like, I feel like a hypocrite. I'm listening to my Bluetooth. I'm like, this is jamming. Oh, we go to the club. I go, yeah, but we don't go to the club. This is just sad. You know what I mean? The people in the bigger cities might, but I'm not going to stop because, because as long as they're still playing the music, you know what I mean? But it's sad, but I hate the fact that I recreate that whole club scene because that's why I feel the void. But then I have a better club scene in my house than 7 bars in London.
I think that we can come full circle, and that's a big part of why I'm doing this show is I wanna.
And we talked about this, about the club scene and how people go out early and how you pre-drink and how bar sales are. Remember we talked about this about
Yeah,
6
yeah.
years ago, whatever, and how it's too expensive to drink out. Nobody, I used to drop $200 when I wanted to waste money when I was single. You know what I mean 200, $300? Who drops $300 at the bar anymore? Unless you got the money to waste. And why would you? Why would you just waste half a week's
It's
wage?
changed. It's all changed. And once the people who own the venues and the clubs, they start to figure it out, and they will, and they are, that's part of why they're doing the food thing. Like I do get it.
Mhm.
But it's as it continues to evolve and they continue to figure it out, and as young people continue to watch shows like this and hear about the past, they'll find little nuggets, right? They'll find that's why I want to get it all on the record because they'll find little things and be like, oh, that what if we do that again? What if we bring that back? And we do, and that's what we need.
Culture repeats itself. Bell bottoms, disco, funk, all the stuff we talked about, hip hop. Culture
Look at
repeats
the
itself.
baggy pants all the girls are wearing right now.
People and young kids, my nieces and my nephews are like, "Oh, dad, mom, uncle, you don't know what this is about." And I go, "Yeah, we do. We did it first. You guys are learning from, everything's repeated." I remember driving my car and I heard dun 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 dun. I'm like, that's Rhythm Nation,
Mm,
but it wasn't Rhythm Nation. It was Sly and the Family Stone, and that's where it's
mm,
from.
yeah,
It was the original. It was playing on the whatever station, but I knew the riff.
it's
And when I heard the
wild.
riff, I go, "That's not Rhythm Nation. That's Sly and the Family Stone. That's the original song."
Shout out to Nick, but Nick from Zip DJ. I was on Zip DJ a few months back, and I went on to download some house music because I was gonna do like you. I was gonna turn on the camera, do a
Mhm.
little YouTube thing, and I'm going through Zip DJ, and I'm like, whoa. And it's like back in the day when I started DJing, 90s, stuff like that, like you said, there was remixes of stuff from the
Mhm.
70s and so on. But now it's like I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, everything is a remix and master.
Everything's remixed.
Everything.
Everything's so much a remix now. There's
Crazy.
I don't I'm so old school. There's a song, it's a remix of Genius of Love, Tom Tom Club, and it's Mariah Carey. The song's on the radio, and this is such a sad thing. I was driving the car the other day. I was listening to slut radio. That's the opposite of what I don't want to get sued. You know, see what I did there? See what I did there? And I'm listening to this song. I'm like, this song is a remix of an original song, and it's Genius of Love. But the song, they took the song, they sampled it that Mariah Carey did, but what they did in the song, they got Mariah Carey to do the remix of the remix. But those 2 songs are actually stolen from Tom Tom Club, and I've seen vines and whatever, like, and people are like, "You're trying to say your age." I'm like, "You idiot. This is the original." My cousin one time tried to test me about remixes. I go, know music, right?" So she was playing the remixes, Biggie Smalls, this and that, whatever. And every time she played the remix of something, I was telling her what the original was. And she
Mm,
goes, "Wow, you know your music." I go, "Because I was there. I'm not a music icon. Like, I don't know. I watch DJs on Twitch that know their music really well. I'm not that good because I'm not invested into it. The problem is I'm not invested into it in that one genre. I'm the king of 14 flavors, so I can only be a multivitamin. But trust me, my vitamins are potent. My acid
mm,
jazz is nasty. My grime is nasty. My house music is sick. You know what I mean?
yep,
I don't fool around because when I get my music together for my show, I don't get the it'll do. I get the most potent of each one.
yep.
So when I do the shows, like any song I can play of any genre will be wicked. In any order I can play it, it'll still be wicked because I actually Shazam songs that I think is funky in the car. Sometimes I have the song, I go to play it back, and it still has to go through a screening of me.
Mm,
Because the first time I heard it, I'm like, that's funky. But the second time I heard it, I go, it's funky, but it's not funky enough for my show. I'm the worst of my own show because I give out the most for the show. Because when people tune in, you only get one chance to enjoy it or not. That's why people come back.
mm,
If you play the best of the best, they'll come back. Not just the first time. Anybody can press anybody the first time. You want them to boomerang come back. That's what I love when they come back. I'm like, oh, I see you're back. I used to play Lizard Lounge on Richmond.
yep.
Same guy was running that place. Funny. And I knew it was just a small temporary stop by before people went to the big club Joe Cool's. It's right in the corner. And people come in and go, oh, yeah, we're checking out this little lounge, whatever. And I play and I'm doing my stuff. It's a small little place. And I was so cocky that I would get on the mic and I go, I see people come in, they dance, but they look for people. That's the whole 3 stages, the drinking, the people, whatever. They want to go to the bigger bar and check out and find more girls, whatever. I find more guys, whatever. But they come and they party with me for a minute, but I'm killing the music. I'm not holding back. I have no filter. I'm killing it. And I look at them and they're leaving. I lean on my microphone and I go, "You'll be back." That's all I said. 3 words. 40 minutes later, they go to Cool's, they come back, and I see them come in and I go, "Told you." That's all I said 'cause I knew. And they look at me and they just start cracking up because I know what you're looking for. You're going to, but the music is such a strong force.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
enjoyed the music, just like Shakers. When I say you play the best stuff, it might be subliminal, it might be in the background, but when they get, if you're going somewhere and the second room is not the main room. I was playing remember there was at the Knack, there was the Sapphire room, the Cherry room, same guy again. This Cherry room, the Sapphire room, and then big room. Me and Dad, I remember Daz back then, and Benny, and we were all back then, and Mark Farakawa and Daryl, and we were all back. And I remember Daz saying to me one time, because I come in, I'm playing the Cherry room. I wanted to play the Cherry room. I wanted to play the small room. Why did I want to play the small room? Because I'm Starchild. I'm Rebel One Starchild. And I can play what the hell I want. I don't have to follow any rules. I can play the small. I don't have to play the medium room. And Daz would say to me, "Love you, Daz." He's like, "Star, come play with me," because I could play wherever I wanted. I was resident DJ there too. And Daz would say to me, "Come play with me." I'm like, "Why do you want me to play in the main room with 1,000 people when I'm playing the small room?" He didn't want me drawing away from the big room.
Mm.
He wanted me by his side playing Rhythm as a Dancer or top 40 stuff, not playing underground Prodigy in a small room. I'm like, "Dude, you have 1,000 people. I got 50, 20." He still didn't want me. You know what I mean? It was crazy. And I remember DJing back then, and the bouncers, there was a girl. There's 2 different times, and this girl comes up to me. She says, "What are you doing here?" I go, I work here. I'm a resident DJ." She goes, "That's not what I meant." She goes, "I'm up at a freaking post and I'm listening to you play, and you have no filter. You're murdering it. What the hell are you playing?" She goes, "What are you doing in London?" That's what she said to
Mm.
me. She goes, "What are you doing in London? What are you doing here in London? You're not like any other DJ. You only live once, man.
Yeah, it's true.
You only live once.
Yeah, it's
Can we
totally
play top 40 music? I'm a wedding DJ. I do it all the time. I've done weddings at Music Hall, B Large, those guys. Nobody else wanted to do the wedding. I did a wedding. I'm playing all the, Bob Seger. I'm playing the AC/DC. I'm playing all this stuff. And they come up to me and go, "Oh, Star, I didn't think you could play like top 40 music." I'm like, "I'm a wedding DJ. I can eat apples and oranges." And I don't, and people
absolutely.
don't get that. People don't understand you can be an underground hardcore DJ. But like Lauren Hill says, we can do what you do easy.
Mm. We talk a bit about the knack, and I just realized something. I have this tour pass here that I found in my office right before we started the show, and it's the Molson Canadian Rocks blind date tour
Dude,
at the knack. I still have it. Tour pass. That's 1996, I think. Is it 96 or 97?
that's when I came out with my clothing line.
And what's funny, and we'll wrap up with this is because it kind of sums it all up. I told you that story about Ray Bradley.
Mhm.
Molson Canadian Rocks was Ray Bradley,
Nice.
right? And how many years later, and I met the man. And what's funny is when he retired from Molson's, he went to go work for a guy who owned a small video store chain called Blockbuster named Wayne
Mhm.
Hasinga. And he went down to Florida and he worked with Wayne because Wayne started the Florida Panthers, and Ray, because of his marketing knowledge and the Molson thing and all that, he went to go work with Wayne down south in Florida. And so, the moral of all this is like, you know, like you asked me that question before. You never know when things are going to come back around.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's cultural, it doesn't matter whether it's bell-bottom jeans,
Yep.
doesn't matter whether it's people you meet, relationships, but everything in this world is not 6 degrees of separation no more.
Oh, man.
No, it is not. And so you got to be nice to everybody, and honor the earth we're on, man. Honor the vibration we're all living in, man. And
You're on a bus, you're talking smack about this guy. Oh, he's old guy, whatever. I'm going for this interview, but he's probably an idiot. You're on a bus. I teach psychology. I've taught psychology for a long time, street psychology.
yeah,
But you're on a bus. You're on an LTC bus. You're on Oxford West. You're going for a job interview at 3 a.m. But you're talking smack about the interviewer. You're talking smack about him. You don't know his granddaughter's sitting right beside you. And you're
you
talking out
never
loud. You're
know.
talking out loud, and she gets on her cell phone because you have cell phones now. She texts her granddad, "Oh, you expecting an interview at 2:05? Yeah, this girl. Oh yeah, I'm on the bus. She's talking smack about you. You get to the interview, you don't get the job. You don't know who's sitting beside you.
No.
Keep your mouth shut. You don't know.
You got to get up
You know
every
what I mean?
day. You got to get up every day and want to make positive change in the world. And I
Yeah.
think and that was where me and you both got drawn into music, for sure. Because music,
The music
Music saved my life, man.
You just took the words
No,
out.
it did.
You owe me a beer. You just took the words out of my mouth. The music saved my life.
It did too.
I've had so many depressions ups and downs, the prostate cancer, this and that. I was homeless. I had a lot of stuff going on back
dude,
when
I
I was
was
younger.
I was epileptic for 13 years.
I tell people stuff that I went through when I was younger, and people don't believe me because the way I am now, I'm not rich. I'm not famous.
Yeah.
I know I get interviews and do all that stuff and do whatever. I'm not famous at all. I don't feel that way. We do stuff, but I reach out to the younger generation. I reach out to the next generation. My son's 10. I'm trying to get him into music, and not
absolutely.
forever, but if I'm DJ Starchild, there's no way he's not going to learn how to dance or learn how to spin tunes. At least have that element.
Absolutely.
Be an engineer, be an accountant, be whatever, but you're not going to not have those elements. There's no way you're going to be my son and not have those skill. Brandon Lee was not the best fighter, but he could still fight. Bruce Lee's son. You know what I mean? He could still fight. His fighting style wasn't the same. Rest in peace, both of them. You know what I mean? But you're not gonna. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna pass that down to you. At least, you know what I mean? That's just sad to me to not pass it down to people. And that's not just your family. That should be people you meet across the way every day.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
We all have to be doing it. When my daughter was born, Sophie.
Oh, dude, I see your pictures.
I had her on the decks, man. I had her on the decks. She loves it. She was obsessed. I just did we just went to a 5th birthday party, one of her friends from school last night. And for like 2 weeks straight, she's like, Dad, you got to DJ his birthday. Dad, you got to DJ his birthday. And I thought it was a joke until I went to the school and they're like, oh yeah, you're DJing Max's party, right? I'm like, what? So, you know what, man? 100%. We got to bring it forward into the next generation.
Covered it all.
We did.
Hold on. I think we got through the pictures.
We got through it all,
we
man.
did both stations. We talked about the voiceover. Come find me voiceover work. 519-851-0026. That's for radio shows. Yeah, we did that. 6 to 8 Friday nights. DJ service, same thing. MWS started in 79. MWS used to be Dynamic Sounds and the Sound Table. And the Sound Table was VMOD, which was one half of the Knights of Sound Table. And Dynamic Sounds was Mr. Groove, Bass D Ace, and and Jalou, and the 5 of us fused together at Wheels Roller Skating and became the Masters of the Wheels of Steel.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on this podcast, man. This is epic.
I just want to cover everything, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't want to be like, how did you not mention that? I'm going to go home and go, we didn't talk about the turtles. There's no turtles. I'm just kidding. But
thanks so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate
love,
it. Absolutely, brother.
Nothing but love.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Music City Live. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Peace out. Starchild 2024.
Thank you for watching Music City Live. If you liked this episode, like the video. And for more clips and episodes, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to join the conversation by commenting below and visit us at musiccityliveshow.com.